Do it. There it is. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to Otherworldly Fundraising's October. This is our October monthly show, and on this show specifically, we're going to be celebrating two of the most popular IPs in the history of pop culture, specifically Ghostbusters, which our friend Steve is wearing the fire suit for, so he's prepared, right? Uncle Scar always taught us to be prepared in the 90s, even though we're talking about the 80s primarily, but still. And I got my TMMT shirt on. Jamie's got a $2 million set that I can't afford to pay for, but you know what? It's going to be great. We're going to be talking about both the greatness that is Ghostbusters, a lot of history there, and we're also going to be talking about the history that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, co-created by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and then the live-action movie came out in 1990, directed by Steve Barron, as well as many other TMNT iterations and properties. So if you have any thoughts about these two properties, if you have any questions about them, have any fun facts about any of these things, whether you like the toys, whether you prefer the comic books, or some of the magazines that came out during these promotional campaigns, let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat, and do not forget to like and share this with all of your 80s friends, all of your 90s friends, all of your 2000s friends, and beyond, because these properties are timeless. Why? Because they're 40 plus years young, which is insane.
Exactly.
To even contemplate, much less think about, because I wasn't even born back then. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is that I'm Ryan of Van Quote Channel. Jamie is over here on my what stage am I on? Right, left, whatever.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'm to the right of you. Yeah.
To the right, to the left. It's everybody's. It's a form of misdirection. What? Misdirection. Whatever the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. There's a John Travolta quote for you, even though we're not even talking about the 2000 film. So Jamie is here. Jamie, how are you tonight?
I am doing good. I am looking forward to talking some nerdage and how we all got into these things. And it's crazy to think, stuff that we totally dug as kids is still like not just going, but going strong. And the craziest thing is that even the iterations that we enjoyed as kids continue to have longevity. Exactly. The 1990, well, and like yeah, and it's just so there's all kinds of really cool stuff, and I've like my journey into TMNT starts with one of the, depending on your corner of the internet, most reviled things of Turtles that came out of the early days, and that's the original Nintendo game. And the one that everybody gets stuck at the dam level, the where you're defusing the bombs, right?
Yep.
And
never get past that.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot. One of the things that I forgot to have him bring over was my old Stay Puft Marshmallow Man Halloween costume that my mother and my grandmother made out of a snowsuit.
Nice.
Wow.
I wish I had. I'll try to find pictures or something.
Yeah, post it on our social media so people can see that.
Yeah, because so these are two properties that have meant a lot to me, and I thought, you know what? I've kind of combed through a bunch of stuff. I'm sure Steve is as bummed as I am that the 2 in the box has not arrived yet. It's not shipping until
I most certainly am.
Darn it.
Yeah, I was hoping to have it before. I was hoping to be here before Halloween, but it's coming middle of November is when those things are on their way to folks. And so because I was hoping that maybe it would arrive so Steve could show us. But I do have. The other thing I have to grab at some point is a little battery pack, because I'm going to give folks who have the HasLab Proton Pack a small tip that I learned on the internet on how to power that bad boy without D batteries. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. Our other co-host, because we almost forgot to introduce our other co-host / Ghostbuster / TMNT fan. Steve Fisher is in the building. Steve, how are you tonight? And are you excited to learn new tricks of the trade about how to power up your proton packs, even though the battery cells are supposed to last 150 years?
Last weekend, right here locally at the Rochester Museum Science Center, they had tricks and treats. It was like a family trick-or-treat day.
That's great.
Cool.
And so the Rochester Ghostbusters showed up and did stuff. And I'm using my proton pack. Now, the proton pack, and it's over there, but it's like my room's a mess, so I don't have the ability to just grab it. But
it's okay.
The proton pack is powered by D-cell batteries, and it's got a little switch on it. And when you yes,
oh my god,
and when you plug in, so you can see the to the left of the screen.
There it is
a red switch, and that red switch powers the proton pack on.
Switch me on
over there. No,
Yeah.
the other, is it that? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where it is. Yes. So it powers it on, and once it's powered on, and you plug in the neutrino wand, which is what uses where they fire the plasma beams at the yes, at the
ghost.
specters and the ghosts. That wand controls the proton pack, so you can turn it off and on with the wand.
Yeah.
But if you are standing idle for maybe 30 to 40 seconds, the pack shuts down to preserve battery life. And then you could just use the wand to turn it back on and off.
Yeah.
If you are powered down for like 5 minutes, then the entire pack shuts down and you can't use the wand to turn it back on. And you can't, unless your name is Plastic Man, reach around to flip the thing back on. So luckily, when I'm with a bunch of Ghostbusters, I just turn around like, can you flip me back? And they turn it back on.
Yeah.
Right. So
there are mods
Mm-hmm.
that enable you to have it always powered on, that you can get into your system, because a lot of people really mod the proton packs.
Yeah.
And there are mods where you can go into the system and into the pack itself and make it so that it's always on. I don't have that. But
yeah, I don't have that either.
As I'm using it, I say to myself, these are the original batteries that you put in it when you first got it, and they're still running. So, and every time I'm like, I should bring some D cells with me just in case. And then I'm like, nah, I'll be fine. So one of these days, the pack's going to shut off and not turn back on, and I'm going to hopefully have some D cells with me.
Yeah.
Well, after you hear this, you won't need D cells anymore. This is going to be great.
We're jumping right into fun facts and tech tips for Proton Pack.
Yeah. Oh, and Steve, I don't know if you heard, but I went ahead and did the Peter Venkman from the real Ghostbusters hair.
Got the hairstyle going on.
Yeah. But yeah, so I thought, okay, we'll grab that later, and I'll have to get the battery though, because I've been using it to power a small cassette tape recorder, so I can make backups of some old cassette tapes. Oh my father did a recording like back in the 80s of Jailhouse Rock that he changed the lyrics for Halloween and made it Graveyard Rock.
Wow.
And they used to play that on the oldies station back in the 80s and 90s. They played it until like the late 90s.
Good Lord.
And and so we couldn't find the tape, which is why I I made my own version of it. And mine is more Bobby Boris Pickett, where it's the three voices and that kind of stuff. But his version was Dracula. The best way to describe the energy of it is if Steve Martin from doing King Tut did a Dracula voice for all of that's kind of the energy. It's beautiful. It's like 80s messy. It's great. And so I absolutely loved it. Well, we finally found the cassette tape. And so I made a transfer of that and a couple of the shows, because dad's had bands since the 50s. And as a matter of fact, he's putting together another band. So that's
wow.
So he's been doing that since high school, which is pretty cool.
That's crazy. So Jesse and the Rippers version 3.0. This is great. Uncle Jesse.
Yeah. At this point, probably like 10.0.
10.0. Yeah, I'm dating myself here a little bit.
So many bands over the time, but yeah. So, but one of the other things I wanted to talk about, especially with Steve, is a lot of people hear about like the 501st Legion and a lot of different things like that. But I thought it would be really cool for people who may or may not know like what the different chapters of Ghostbusters, what they do, some of the things you're involved in. I thought that'd be really cool because I've wanted to get involved. I just haven't no time. I hardly have enough time for myself, let alone do anything else.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd love to hear about like what the experience is like doing the different events and what like some of the goals are, who from the company, because I know Ghost Corps, I know there's like because there's Ghost Corps, which is like the official like licensing arm or something, how all that works.
Well, so I will say this, I'm relatively new to being a member of the Rochester Ghostbusters because I only joined once I got the Proton Pack and realized, you know what, I'm gonna create a full outfit. And I reached out, and I've been to a couple of movie premieres. They did a movie premiere for Frozen Empire.
Yep.
And I went to that, and then they actually did a movie premiere in trying to think when it was. Sometime this summer, they did a movie premiere. There was a local drive-in movie theater.
Oh, great!
That reopened after 40 years.
Oh, wow!
And the last movie they ever showed there was the original Ghostbusters.
Oh,
and
man.
they're reopening. The first movie they showed there was Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. So we went there and did a little opening.
That's great.
And one of the things that, yes, we are Ghost Corps. We're part of Ghost Corps, which basically, from what I'm to understand, is you are like officially recognized by Sony as a representative of the Ghostbusters franchise. So when you are out doing things like, for example, at a movie premiere, you know, I mean, you should always know not to be a jerk and not to be an idiot.
Right.
But, you know, also know what you're doing, pay attention to what you're doing, and don't do anything that's going to look stupid or crazy, because technically you're a representative of Sony Pictures at that point.
Right.
And so they're not going to want their ghost people out there just behaving like numbskulls.
Right.
So, and I know when we did the movie premieres, we were looking to raise money for the local emergency animal vet.
Right.
But I don't know what we're doing now. You know, I don't think we didn't really raise any money when we did this thing this past weekend at the museum. It was just to get out there and you know, let the kids see us. And we were the first table. As soon as you walked into the museum, they'd go right up to the front and get their tickets, and they'd come in, and our table was right there, and we had a bunch of paper bags at the table, and then a big bowl of toys and candy, just like little toys and stuff and candy that the museum was coming around, and they were refilling the bowls. And then we would say, take a bag, unless they brought their own, take a piece of candy or a toy, and then go through the museum, because there were tables all around the rest of the museum at all the different exhibits where they could fill their bag up and go trick-or-treating and whatnot. And so
cool.
Yeah.
Fun little community event, I would say.
Nice. Do you have like a favorite? Do you have like a favorite moment from the like kids' reaction or
maybe some of the movie premieres you went to?
Yeah, that too.
I don't know. I think I just like when people see us, and they get like really excited because, you know, we're the Ghostbusters. I mean, there are some kids that are scared. You know, they'll hear the noise of the Proton Pack, you know, the accelerator. I mean, because it's a nuclear accelerator that you have on your back, and so they hear that, and they
why worry?
You know, they shy away. But we're always trying to be friendly and nice, and so I just think it's fun. Well, one of the things that was fun was that there was a family that came on Sunday, and they were dressed as Ghostbusters. And it was mom and dad and their daughter, and their daughter was probably like 12 or 13, maybe 14, I forget. But they all had jumpsuits on, and dad and daughter had full proton packs on their back that were, I don't know if they were HasLab, but what I'll say, because we talked earlier and Jamie showed his pack, is that HasLab is the premium version of Hasbro Pulse, and Hasbro Pulse is the premium version of Hasbro. So when you go to the store, and you buy Hasbro toys, and you buy action figures, and you buy this, that, and the other thing, you're just getting like your, you know, generic Hasbro toys that they put out there for everyone.
The action figures.
Hasbro Pulse is high-end action figures in toys that you're going to spend a little bit more money on, but they're higher quality than what you can find out in the toy store.
Oh.
And then when they're going to make something like the Proton Pack that's going to be fairly expensive, they want to make sure that if they're going to start producing it, they're going to have enough people that are willing to pay money for what they want to charge.
Yeah.
And so HasLab, it's kind of like a Kickstarter, like a crowdfunding thing, where they say, okay, we need 20,000 backers who are going to say that they will want this Proton Pack. And then if we get this amount of backers, then we will start producing it. And if we can get, you know, this much more, then we'll add this to it. If we get this much more, then we'll do this. And then they kept going further and further for what, you know, the more backers we get, the more we're going to get.
Yeah. And nice ones too. Like stands. Like I didn't get the slime. I didn't get the money in time, but like the slime. Oh God, there's so much. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's great, Jamie. Save some for me. You better get down here right away. I just went into a ballroom. And by the way, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Steve. But Book Girl says that Steve is the kindest human being I've ever known, and he is really good at interacting with the public. How about that? How about that? You're getting love from the 20,000 people watching this right now.
Is also HasLab. The HasLab products are one and done. So it's not like, okay, we have enough people to back this and we're going to make it. Once the campaign's over, it's over.
Yeah.
And it's not, once they produce them and get them out to everyone that order them, then they're not going to say you're going to see them in stores. That's it. If you want to buy it, you're going to have to find them on eBay, and they're a lot more expensive than they were initially.
Like almost $1,500 now.
Them.
Yeah. And then HasLab, their next major project was another Ghostbusters project, and that was 2 in a box. And so the 2 in a box is going to be a
keeps pulling a magic trick. Steve disappears into his Trekkie screen there, and then he comes back.
It's going to be a spirit trap, a ghost trap.
It's a ghost trap.
Like, you know, and this is just a Walmart trap that I have painted up and made it look distressed.
That looks great. Did an awesome job.
Looks like it came out of the movie, don't you think?
Yeah.
And also the PKE meter.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I think we've hit the honey pot.
Yeah. And the PKE meter, the HasLab one will actually, what is it? It'll be an EMF detector.
It's going to be an EMF detector, so it'll actually be able to detect electromagnetic fields where there are none, or where there shouldn't be any.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, and that one was called 2 in a box, and everyone got super excited, and they, you know, did the same whole crowdfunding thing, backing, and we are supposed to get it now, probably sometime next month.
Yeah,
it's like on the verge. I've gotten several emails saying you have until November 18th.
Oh, the 18th.
To finalize your address with us. Make sure you got the correct address, because we're going to send it out to you. And I'm like, you already sent me the Proton Pack to the correct address, so I'm not concerned.
I'm not really worried, you know. I got the firehouse over here, so it's like dropping off or picking up, dropping off.
Yeah.
And they currently have another HasLab project going on right now, looking for backers, and that is also Ghostbusters themed.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
It's an Ecto 1. Yep. It's about this big.
Oh, so it's like a model of the car. It's not an actual.
But the car itself, it has lights. It's got full sounds. The steering wheel completely turns around.
Really?
The radio inside the car, you can hear like.
Okay.
It makes like, you know, like you're going through the different frequencies.
Yeah.
And that looks really nice. And there's 2 versions. There's the standard and the deluxe. And if you get the deluxe version, then you can remove the roof, put the roof of the Ecto 1A on it from Ghostbusters 2.
Oh.
And then it comes with decals.
I
so
didn't
you
know
can
that.
put decals on it to make it the vehicle from Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
But apparently you get 1 sheet of decals, and they say that it's only good for about 5 switches between vehicles. So
yeah, that's
I don't think I'm not planning to get that one.
Yeah.
That's
I would love to, and I think the deluxe one, if I remember correctly, is I think it also comes with the 4 Ghostbusters in Ghostbusters 2 gear, if I remember.
Oh yeah,
correctly.
they're black uniforms.
Yeah.
Those were nice too. I
Yeah.
didn't
They
mind
were.
those I didn't mind those uniforms at all. And Reginald says I have the only UK working version of the Frozen Empire Professor Hoover all radio control. No kidding.
Ooh. By the way, Reginald, hello. And I'm sorry I've not had a chance to message you back on Facebook Messenger. I'm in the middle of a fundraiser for the EAP Society, and I am
Oh,
having to mix and master 3 album or no, not 3. No.
is it 2?
6 albums.
Good Lord.
Trying to mix and master 6 fresh albums of material so that
Ouch.
they're more ready for prime time is
Mm.
the literal definition of biting off more than you can chew. So I'm just kind of slowly eating my way through the elephant. And
Wow.
it's when it's done, it's going to be cool. I found outtakes and bonus stuff that's going to be really neat. The Christmas album specifically, we did a version of Down by the Riverside that was used in the movie The Peace Patch that I was in,
Oh.
and we cut it at that session. Well, now that's one of the extra bonus tracks that are going to be on the new digital. And anyway, but so if anybody messages me and they don't hear anything,
It's nothing personal. It's just that I'm working on 6 billion things at once, and I want to get it done before Christmas. So
yes,
yeah.
I need to, because we're working on.
Is there anything you're not working on? I mean, good Lord, man.
At the moment, it's kind of crazy. Well, it's one of those things where when things are just getting started, there's everything needs to be done.
Yeah,
And
piles up.
since I've
Right.
always on top of that stuff, like I'm just used to doing it. So I just like, and then I get behind, and then everybody wonders why I get behind.
Gee,
But
yeah,
I tell you what, I'm going to grab that battery
Oh,
while you all talk for a little bit, and you can see
Yeah.
more of the crazy background crap that's
Well,
here.
No, that's fine. I mean, I can do,
So-
I can let people know what they're tuning in for as a friendly neighborhood reminder. So
Oh,
here,
yeah.
yeah, if you don't mind me, Steve, I'm just
No,
going to
I don't mind
say
it.
to everybody
I'll be
who's watching or listening, this is the October monthly show for Otherworldly Fundraising. Do not forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. And if you're joining us live or what is known as a replay, just specifically, we thank you for being with us. Do you have any fun facts, any memories of these 2 properties known as Ghostbusters or TMMT you want to share with us? Drop them in those comments. Drop them in the chat. We would love to hear from you. And thank you to everybody who has commented thus far during the course of this program. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, granted, I didn't collect a lot of these toys growing up, much less now, because I have to adult and pay bills. So I don't really have opportunity to buy proton packs, fire suits, make myself look more presentable as Egon Spengler. Because if I were to join a community portion of the Ghostbusters in my, the chapter here in my neck of the woods of Maryland, I would go as an Egon type character. But then again, I can always go as myself. I can just get it like a name patch and put it on the suit, and whatever.
Yes.
So, which I could probably do at some point. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility here in my neck of the woods of Maryland, but I'd have to get in touch with the local chapter. I'd have to talk to about some stuff, make sure I get all the cross the T's, dot the I's. Because honestly, I've come to really respect and appreciate Ghostbusters much more now as an adult than I did when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, this movie scared the living crap out of me.
Oh,
but when it really did. Like, it, honest to God, like, it creeped me out, man. There is some really scary stuff for a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But when you look at it now, I mean, 1 or 2 moments maybe still a bit scary for me, but at the same time, it's funny. This movie's hilarious. Like, the first 50 minutes, I could not stop myself from laughing because everything from the setup in the beginning in the library to the setup where they get the firehouse and they get their stuff together, and they say, this place is great. When can we move in? It's like, this place is terrible. Like, why would you want to be? But like, Egon's like, yeah, we'll take it. It's like, this place should be condemned as a militarized. But dude, when they go to the ballroom and just everything that goes into that, and then Egon's giving him the hand language of how much they need to charge this guy to pay for their services. I'm like, I don't know who came up with this, but this is brilliant. So I'm more of a Ghostbusters fan now than I was 25, 30 some odd years ago. So if an opportunity presented itself, Jamie, I would join my local chapter of Ghostbusters and suit up, because I've already cosplayed as a handful of characters from other properties. Going as a Ghostbuster really isn't much of a stretch for me. So I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, we are talking about Ghostbusters and TMNT, but did you find that battery that you've been looking for?
I did indeed.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
That's a nice looking battery, by the way.
It is a nice looking battery. And this was an Amazon Prime special. I love how it even has You can even see the
number.
percentage.
Oh, percentage.
Yeah, it has the number on it, Steve.
Wow.
See that?
Yep.
Yeah, you need to get yourself one of those, man.
So anyway, so here's a really cool thing. So I was looking up alternative ways because I'm not used to anything that takes D batteries lasting very long. So I'm just like, I don't want to screw with that. And I thought I have a million batteries, like rechargeable batteries for cell phones and whatever in the house, right?
That's fair.
So I went looking online. So there's got to be a way. I just don't know what it is. So anyway, so what? So there was a YouTube video of somebody, and I'm blanking on the YouTube video, but it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is a standard USB cable, and there's let's see if I can just these little things like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then so what you do is you strip the USB cable like that, and you add these ends, right? And then you attach them to there are springs on the inside. There we go. There are springs, and then there's like this. So you just plug these in to their respective, like you just kind of shove these in. Now, if you want to be real swift, probably solder. And this might be a bit of a rigmarole because I'm kind of doing this, back from a kind of an odd angle. But so then we plug this in, and now what I'm going to do at some point is I'm going to drill through here. And the reason why I got the battery that I got, because I wanted something
that could fit right in there.
Yeah. So the idea is this, this fits in here.
That's beautiful. It's a perfect fit.
And then
it goes on. Okay. There you go. Whoop. Yeah, you almost broke your own $2,000 camera. But yeah, there it is. Yeah, lights, bells, whistles, everything. See, this is the thing. I'm looking forward to getting my own fire suit, my own proton pack. Because then you, me, Jamie, Steve, all of us can gather together. And we can really bust some heads in the spiritual sense, of course.
Of course.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
There's always a good way for us to throw in a zinger there. I got to be honest. It's too much fun. It's too much fun. We just got to find ourselves being claustrophobic in a hotel elevator somewhere and just drop those lines on maybe another person who just happens to be standing in the elevator with us and be like, okay, there's no time for that. Switch me on. So then we switch it on. You hear it and you're like, oh, this person's probably going to want to scram out of the elevator here shortly.
We got the pack. We got the 2 in a box that are coming.
That's great.
Yep.
I was hoping the Ecto 1 vehicle is good, but I was hoping for something like this. Because if they can make
binoculars, I think they're called.
They're Ecto goggles.
Oh, Ecto goggles, excuse me.
And if they can make the Ecto goggles that actually have night vision, that would be fancy.
Exactly.
But I mean, Ghostbusters, there is so much. So we have the all the gear and stuff. But we, like, when I go, I'll bring other things. So for example, I have the official here we go. The Tobin Spirit Guide.
Ooh.
So this is actually
I didn't know that was real.
Well, so this is the official Ghostbusters one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Space Catalog, Tobin Spirit
Guide. Basically, it just has like some of the spirits and stuff that they've encountered, and I believe this has some of the stuff they saw they did like Ghostbusters and also in real Ghostbusters and whatnot.
That's even better.
There's a lot of nods in there to different things too. That if you're really sharp, like they were talking about. I think they were talking about it on like the Ghostbusters news channel, and they dove into like it's amazing.
Well,
like, all the little Easter eggs.
This is. Let me take a look at the year.
Apparently, Reginald says that, yeah, Jamie earlier was playing with a power source of an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back. Excuse me whilst I back away. Yeah,
Right?
Reginald, it's fine. You can keep backing away, man, because we're still playing with our toys. Even though someone's probably going to chime in the chat asking us, where does he get those wonderful toys?
So I don't know.
Just saying.
I don't know what
Right?
the copyright date on this is, but Magnolia Props,
Yes.
Oh,
which
that's
does
what
the
I'm talking
props.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that on order. Magnolia Props is coming out with one
I think I've
that's
heard
like $300 to $400.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a
No,
pretty
no,
penny.
no, it wasn't. It was like $279.
Okay.
Jeez.
But
Yeah.
Pretty penny for a book.
it's like almost 500 pages,
Yeah.
and it's written like an encyclopedia, and it's
It's amazing.
aged,
Like
and
Britannica.
it looks and there are things in there like Gremlins, which by the way is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year as
Yes.
well.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes.
Gremlins and Ghostbusters premiered on the same day.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a great
wow.
double feature for
And
everybody.
the Sanderson sisters are in the big book.
Wow. Speaking of Hocus
And
Pocus.
there's a lot of different stuff in there. And when Magnolia first said they were going to do it, I think they went on to Reddit and put out there that they were going to do this, and they wanted the community to give them ideas for all the various things they were going to put in there, because they have, everything that was in the movies, but then that's limited, and they want to flesh it out as if it's a real book that Egon references.
Yeah.
And so, and when I get it, the outside, it's going to be wrapped in a package that was sent by Ray's Occult Books from New York City, with a New York City address and everything.
In the second film, yeah.
I love that so much.
We have this, and I got this on Etsy. It is the Ghostbusters employee handbook. So basically, it's written as if you are a Ghostbusters employee just starting out.
Yep.
And they give you information about things, how to handle the PK meter, and there is a section here. Let's see.
I think I'll just let my one of my Ghostbusters in the chapter that I'm in, if I end up being a part of this in Maryland, I'll just let them explain it to me. I don't know if I want to flip through a 500-page book. It's just like, just give me a practice run here, guys. I can master it. Trust me. I've seen all the movies. Well, all but Frozen Empire, but still.
There's several pages on how to operate the ecto containment unit.
I love that.
When it's green, the trap is clean.
Correct.
Exactly.
And then I got this at Barnes & Noble.
Of course you did.
Nice.
And it is a visual.
Oh, the visual history. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it basically
Beautiful
tells the story of Ghostbusters, like in linear form from the first ideas that Dan Aykroyd had. Because his original idea for Ghostbusters was that it was a science fiction movie.
Right.
Took place in space, and they were like space janitors going after stuff, and they're like, well, what if we bring them down to Earth and make them like, he always felt that the Ghostbusters were like civil servants. Hence this is like a janitorial outfit that they would wear, like a firefighter or something, and they were just going out, and they were public utility, like, the fire department goes out and puts out fires, the police department goes out for crime. Well, if you have ghosts, then the Ghostbusters go out and take care of the ghosts, and that's how he saw it. And like I said, originally it was like space janitors, but it became what it is now, and it's amazing. And there's so much.
It's a documentary, yeah. Exactly, it's a documentary.
Yes. Yeah. And it's 40 years on, it's become such a just big thing. Hasbro wouldn't have made a proton pack if they didn't think that it was going to sell.
Right.
Because before the proton pack that came out from HasLab, so many other people just made their own, and they made molds, and then they made, and just the community has done so much prior to the Proton Pack from HasLab.
Yeah.
But that Proton Pack opened it up to a whole lot of new people who wanted to be a part of the community that didn't have the technical know-how to build their own.
Or $3,000.
Exactly. Because you know, if you wanted to, okay, you could find someone that could build you one, but you were going to spend a lot more money than what Hasbro was offering to sell it for.
Yeah,
and
it was $400. It was I think it was $399 for the pack, and then $120 for the wand. And considering all of the extras, it was, so if it's 500, 500-ish, that's 2, 4, 7. Yeah, that's like, you'd be paying 6 times that before HasLab came around. And even now, even at the eBay scalper prices, which are between 1,000 and 1,500 last time I checked, even that is half of what the packs were going for from the fans selling, just because of how much more expensive that was. So, I mean, even the scalper market is a reduction compared to what we had before.
Oh, yeah. And you know, it goes to, I mean, in like having the 2 recent movies, Afterlife and Frozen Empire, you know, there was so much talk of wanting to do a Ghostbusters 3, and were they ever going to do it? And they had talked about it, and then they came out with a Ghostbusters video game with the original cast voicing everything, and they said, oh, well, maybe, you know, that's kind of like the Ghostbusters 3, because we weren't sure we were ever going to get anything.
Right.
Then they came out with Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which was the all-female Ghostbusters. And there are a lot of people that are like, oh, that's garbage. It's not. Hey, it's Ghostbusters. We're keeping people interested in Ghostbusters. And while I don't maybe think it's on par with the guys, I enjoy it. I laugh when I watch it. And it is, you know, and the original guys were in it doing cameos and whatnot. And I mean, anytime you can give me more Ghostbusters, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to enjoy it. And you know,
and the other thing that's kind of interesting is, in an ironic way, in an ironic way, Answer the Call prepped people for Afterlife in a way that it might not have before, because Answer the Call got such, and I agree with you, I think, unnecessary backlash.
Very divisive.
It got so much unnecessary backlash that Afterlife felt like a breath of fresh air because they were like, oh gosh, they're bringing the original back, they're it's a continuation, not a reboot, and all this, you know, because like Answer the Call, Answer the Call got hate from being a reboot, but then also you know, changing the cast, and of course you get, you know, all this kind of thing, and the dynamics are different because, you know, it's an all-female cast, so you know, it's a different dynamic. But I mean, and I agree with you, like when Rhonda and I saw the film, she absolutely loved it. I really liked it. I agree with you, like I like the energy of the original more, but it's still great. It's, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's kind of like, there's a lot of things that took a lot of hate at the time that over time people kind of, it takes time for people to mellow on stuff because they're so uptight at the time. And then after a while, then they're like, oh, okay. I mean, it would be kind of interesting if they took the route with the movies like they did in the IDW comic books, where you had different universes kind of converging. So they had the IDW comics Ghostbusters meet the real Ghostbusters, meet the Ghostbusters from the film, from the original film. And I think they had some of the Answer the Call Ghostbusters all working together because the Zool Gateway was the center of all of the universes.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
It was really well done. Like Crisis on Infinite Ghostbuster Earth.
Yes.
Well, there's a crossover I wish we could see one of these days. Probably never will, but hey, who knows? But I will say this, gentlemen, because unfortunately one of us here has to go very early. I actually have to get going to another commitment that I have tonight. It's called work.
All right.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yes.
I do want to say this real quick as I'm leaving this studio. I'm not gonna, by the way, the show isn't over, folks. It's just that your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has to leave and do something called working overnights, which
Yes.
it may not be always fun to do, but it has to be done. Why? Because somebody has to do it. So in that case, I want to say thank you for having me. This has been fun. As far as I'm concerned, OG Ghostbusters #1 is still my favorite of all of them. I haven't seen Frozen Empire yet, so I can't comment or speculate. But of the ones that I have seen, OG is still the best, in my opinion. As far as TMNT goes, I mean, I'm wearing the freaking shirt for Pete's sake. So
Yes.
1990s, a masterpiece. It holds up, which, by the way, it celebrates 35 years of being young next year. And we're going to be doing an anniversary watch along for that on my channel, which segues right into this. So you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Follow us on all forms of social media at And I Quote Channel. That's my YouTube channel. But don't forget to be following these lovely people here. And follow us on Otherworldly Fundraising, because you may or may not see me pop up every once in a while. But yeah, check out Anti-Code Channel. We talk about all things nerdy, all things fandom, however you want to phrase it, because there's no right or wrong answer to answer the question. And like what you like, enjoy what you enjoy. If an entry point was Ghostbusters Answer the Call for you, hey, great, more power to you. If your entry point for TMNT was the animated series before the movies came out, hey, I watched reruns. Okay, I watched reruns. More power to you. It's not a big deal. And by the way, Reginald, thank you for your vote of confidence in me, saying that I'm going to eventually become a Ghostbuster. Thank you so much. I hope to don the fire suit, the proton pack. Maybe put on the gloves a little bit. Especially when things get a little sticky or slimy, because I don't want to get slimed. Okay, because I don't want to walk into work one day and be like, he's slimy. That's great, actual physical content. No, I don't want that. But because Slimer back there, he's a disgusting blob. He's a really ugly spud, isn't he? I think he can hear you, Jamie.
Tell Slimer no means no.
Exactly. But listen, this has been great. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of this programming between Jamie and Steve here, because we're not done yet. We've only reached the very tip of this iceberg. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and do all that stuff. Yes, Jamie.
Tell us what first got you into Turtles. Was it the first film?
I mean, I watched reruns of the animated series, so that was probably the first thing that introduced me to the Turtles. But the thing that really got me to become a fan of that property was, I mean, it's got to be this masterpiece of a film. So for more from Steve Barron and Jim Henson's Creature Shop, by the way, don't forget Jim Henson was involved in this right before he passed away, okay? He was involved in this before he ever passed away. So thank you, Jim Henson. Thank you to everybody who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make those suits work, to make sure that the actors in those suits were able to perform to the best of their ability, because those suits are hot, man.
Yes, they are.
They're extremely hot. But listen, that's my fandom as far as TMNT goes. If you want to know more about this, feel free to visit us on the NI Code channel, or Jamie, Steve, if you guys want to be on there with us.
Yeah.
You're invited. Everybody in this Otherworldly fundraising community is invited, including you who's watching and listening to this right now. You're invited. Why? Because you're one of us. Yes. Jamie knows this. But I love you guys. Take it easy. But in case I do not see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Phenomena.
Take care, man. Thanks for coming. Oh, that's awesome. The 2 and 2 is don't
give it a call.
Yeah. That's a good question. Let's see. At one point, what was it? 212, what was it?
897-1964.
Okay. Let's find out. Okay. It's on speaker. So
nice.
So we'll all find out.
The subscriber you have dialed is not in service. If you feel you've received this message in error, please hang up and try your call again.
Maybe, apparently not. So that's too bad. But that's all right. That's all right. It's
if it's not in service, then somebody needs to jump on it, because I know, when if you get a new cell phone number, sometimes you can request. So if you want to request that number and then just have it always voicemail to, Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just do like AI voices of all the Ghostbusters and just, just have it be something. That'd be fun. Or just clip out like different lines and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, so we'll kind of we might go back and forth or something with some of this, but before we go any further, Steve, what was your first entry into Ghostbusters? What was the thing that first,
I think,
gave you the bug?
I'm gonna say probably just seeing the movie, because I'm old enough to have been alive to have been 14 in 1984 when the movie came out. So went and saw it and loved it.
Yep.
And I've always been interested in paranormal.
Oh, cool.
And it's not just because it's, it's a good movie and whatnot, but like, I've been interested in ghosts and scary things. And, I've read the Amityville Horror a couple of times. And the first time I found out that was based on a true story, I don't know what to believe. I've flip-flopped over the years as to whether or not I believe that it was legit or not.
Yeah.
But just as a young kid, hearing that it was supposed to be a true story, I was like, what? And then realizing, ghosts, there are people that actually, it's not just like ghost stories where people say they saw a ghost and they got scared. There are people that actually go looking for them.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I was 3.
You were what?
I was 3
Oh.
in 1984. Just so you know.
So my wife just popped her head in and wanted to remind me that in 1984 she was 3.
Oh.
Because I'm 11 years older than she is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was 4. So.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
Pardon me. So I actually, a number of years ago, joined up locally with a ghost hunting group.
Oh, cool.
And we were called Mystic Encounters, and we filmed a local TV series where we would go around to local areas, doing ghost hunts, and they aired on local community access, cable access channel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and our executive producer, Paul, was he was the executive producer of one of the local community access channels in one of the towns here. Kristen wants to let us know that she was 5 in 1984. So yeah, that's good. We did ghost hunting, and I became the lead videographer, and we had a really fun time going to a lot of different places. So I've always been a fan. And I just, having seen Ghostbusters more and more, over the years, and just always loving it, and being the fan of ghost hunting and everything, it's built, and I've just become more and more very much interested in it.
Yeah.
To the point where when I finally saw, pardon me, I finally saw that that HasLab was coming out with Proton Pack, I was like, oh, well, okay, I'll say this. When I was a kid, I used to read Starlog magazine. Don't know if you know what Starlog magazine is.
I don't actually. So tell everybody.
Starlog magazine was a fandom magazine that was all about science fiction and that kind of stuff. And it came out like every month, and they always had like articles on what was science fiction pop culture, like Knight Rider, Star Wars. Superman was on the cover a few times.
Nice.
Star Trek. It was like, if you were growing up and you're like a teenager in the 70s or in the 80s, and you loved science fiction, Starlog was what you would. This past June, when I was in Metropolis at the annual Superman celebration, one of the local stores there, which is a collector's store, they sell Starlog back issues, and I bought one with Knight Rider on the cover because I'm a huge Knight Rider fan. So, but Starlog magazine had an ad in it for Ghostbusters jumpsuit, and I remember asking my mom, can I get one of the jumpsuits? Can I get this Ghostbusters suit? And she said no. And I'm like, come on, I really, really want it. She goes, when are you going to wear it? Well, I'll wear it when. Well, I really wanted it just because it was so cool, and I wanted to dress like a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
Never got it. But in years since, I've actually gone and looked it up, and I found the actual ad that I remember seeing as a kid from Starlog. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't get it.
Really?
I mean, well, it was like it had a giant no ghost logo on the back, just to let everybody know what it was. I mean, it's not as bad as dressing as the Bionic Man and having a picture of your own self on your
right.
suit that says the Bionic Man, as if people aren't going to know people won't know who you are. But that's not. I mean, Steve Austin didn't run around with a shirt that said Bionic Man. Woo!
Right. Exactly.
So
I hate
so
it. They did that with Superman too. It was like, what?
yeah.
Why?
Well, you would get and a lot of the Superman costumes came with a little Robin mask,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
what? What? Uh,
They definitely didn't think that through. Like,
no. But so this Ghostbusters, when I look at it now, I'm like, it's cheap. You know, I
yeah,
mean, I would have worn it. I would have grown out of it,
sure.
but I really want to go back in time and talk to that kid who wanted that and say, listen, you're fine. Don't
Yeah.
this you don't no. In the future, you're gonna have the pack. You're gonna have an actual EMF. You're fine.
You're good.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. It's
you're
gonna take
good.
a little
You're
bit, but
good.
you're
You're
fine.
good. It's called delay of gratification. It means that you're gonna get something and you want it now, but if you delay it, when you finally get it, it's gonna be that much greater. I wasn't
Yep.
gonna tell them that delay of gratification was gonna be 30 years from then, but you know.
Someday when you have grown up money, right? Exactly.
Yes. So yeah, but so then yeah, when the proton pack came out, HasLab, and I saw that, I was like, yes, because I remember seeing the Ghostbusters, like Rochester Ghostbusters and other people, you know, at various cons that I've gone to. And I've always seen the packs and I've always loved them. And I've always thought it would be great to someday get my own pack. But then I saw, I'm like, I really, you know, I used to build model cars or model airplanes, and I'm okay with that. But like, and computers, I'm okay with, you know, replacing the motherboard and computer and upgrading memory and video cards and whatnot. But to put a pack together, I just, it looked like daunting.
Yeah.
And to have somebody put a pack, like the money, and I'm just like, but then I saw this HasLab thing, and I'm like, oh, and it's you know, we're never gonna get another. I gotta. And then once I ordered that, I'm like, I'm all in now because I didn't have anything else.
Right.
You know, I didn't, and I had this on order. I'm like, oh well, I know what I'm gonna do for Halloween that year.
Yep.
As did a whole lot of other people.
Yeah. Right.
Which is why when I was ordering stuff, I was like, I'm gonna find a hard time. It's gonna be a hard time finding some of the stuff because everyone's wanting, you know, Ghostbusters stuff for Halloween 2023.
Right.
But then I got the proton pack and I got the stuff, and I'm just like, this is it. This is, you know, Ghostbusters is a huge thing for me now. And in '84, I really enjoyed the movie. I really liked it, but I don't know if I would have said, you know, full on, yes, this is who I am now.
Right.
And I mean, I'm a lot more than just Ghostbusters. I mean, Superman is probably been my one of my lifelong passions. Dinosaurs has been one of my lifelong passions.
Yep.
Once I got introduced to Firefly, that's been one of my lifelong passions.
Oh yeah.
But now Ghostbusters is becoming a passion because, you know, and also because I can interact with people, and when I go out and wear the suit and everything, just to see, you know, people's faces and how excited they are when they see a Ghostbuster. Oh, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? You know, it's super fun.
It's a nice conversation piece.
Yes, it is.
That's what I find about. That's why I love costumes at any time, but you know, especially Halloween, but anytime is just, it is such an awesome conversation starter. People will come up and they'll, yeah, like you said, they want a picture. They're like, oh my gosh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then their references for stuff is interesting in how it changes as the generations go. This is a little unrelated, but I was Jack Sparrow with a group for the Blank Park Zoo, and a bunch of kids were running up, and I'm just thinking, wow, their parents must have shown them the film or something, and they said, oh look, there's Jack Sparrow from Fortnite. I'm like, oh,
Oh, wow.
like, okay, all right. I mean, hey, whatever. I mean, at least he's still out. At least it's still circulating, right?
Yeah,
And
sure.
but yeah, it's funny. My first thing was probably my first thing was the movie as well, and I think it was just such a major pop culture thing. I mean, like it just took off like crazy. That
Mm-hmm.
even though like today it wouldn't be considered a kids movie,
Mm-hmm.
at the time everybody was like, oh, it's it's the 80s, it's fine. And and I'm so glad that I got to see it, because geez, I mean, so many amazing things. At uh at 4, I had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man costume. A couple of years later, they made a Slimer costume from the real Ghostbusters. You see out of the mouth,
Oh,
and
wow.
the thing is huge. I mean, it's massive. It's just huge, and it's so much fun. So you wear black pants with that, because that way you kind of blend, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but and it's like all stuffing. But like as a kid, I after the movie came out and I heard there was going to be a cartoon, I was like super excited. I watched, bought all the toys and all that kind of stuff that I could. I still got the Firehouse. I still have the box for the Firehouse.
Oh, wow.
I still have the box for the Firehouse. It's a little beat up, but still the box for the Firehouse. I have a Ghostbusters, one of those plastic tents with like like the framing and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you like put that over, right? And it's got, the box, like the old. Did you get did you see like the old proton packs back in the day that you hit the you hit the wand and it kind of it makes some, I think if I remember correctly, I think it made some kind of a sound.
Okay.
But it was like it wasn't electronic. It was like like it had that kind of a,
Okay.
you
Huh.
know, and so it was close enough that you could just expand the crap out of that and it would
Yeah.
almost be the same. So my grandmother was a professional seamstress for people in town, and she made me a real Ghostbusters Peter Venkman jumpsuit as a kid. So the brown, like the dark brown.
Yeah.
And we decided on Halloween to go through. Boone used to have a haunted house at the JCs used to do a haunted house every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom and my aunt and myself went to this, and here I am, full Ghostbusters. This was probably 87, something like that. And so and I've got the proton pack and I'm fine. I'm no problem. They're freaked out. So they turn this corner and the light comes on. And I remember this, but it was funny hearing their side of it. And the lights come on, and there's basically a guy that's supposed to essentially be Jason. Big dude, hockey mask, chainsaw, all this other kind of stuff. They freak out because it was pitch black, and then boom, they freak out and they take off running. They get a couple of rooms down and they realize that I'm not there. And they freak out. They're like, oh my God, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? And they run back, and they're like looking and like, Jamie, where, and they turn the corner to the room where the guy is with the chainsaw. And he's like, there was like a chain link fence type thing,
Yeah.
separating him, and he's like trying to climb, acting like he's gonna climb the chain link fence. And there's me in my Ghostbuster costume.
Nice.
It's just like I got this.
Yes.
So yeah, and we've still got that jumpsuit somewhere. I don't know, but and it had like the little Ghostbusters kids patch that you could buy at the time. And,
Yeah.
And but yeah, and that's, I was kind of lucky growing up, because like I hear you with a lot of the costumes that were available to kids. They were just I don't know who thought oh, nobody's going to know what this is. It's like the person, if the kid wants that costume, they're not, no, like you said, nobody wants a Superman costume with Superman written across the S somewhere, or
Yeah.
it just makes it cheap, right? And so yeah, so then my grandmother was like, oh, we can find a pattern or something somewhere, and it's pretty basic, but it had all of, like, the hit the larger points. You knew what it was supposed to be.
Yes. Reginald says that you're fibbing, that it was actually last October.
I wish, because I don't have a flight suit yet. If I had a flight suit, yeah, it might be me. But eventually, I will say this: I would love to see them put out. I would love to see HasLab put out a Ghostbuster pack based on the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Like a real Ghostbuster pack, because they're different enough, and of course they're I think, yeah, they're blue, and there's enough differentiation. It would be really neat to just to see something that looks like it's out of the cartoon, but life size. Yeah, that's really cool. So let's see. Trying to think what it was. Is there one particular, besides like the HasLab stuff? Is there one particular Ghostbuster thing that is like this is my favorite out of the entire collection?
Well, yeah, I'm probably going to say my trap.
Yeah.
Because this trap I bought at a local comic convention. I happened to be walking around, and there was one table, and he was selling like other stuff. It wasn't like specifically a Ghostbusters table, but they just happened to have a proton pack and the proton pack, I think, was probably, so Spirit Halloween has 2 proton packs you can buy. There's one that is 80% of the real size, and then there's a full size pack. And I think it was the 80% size. And so I happened by the table, and I saw that they were selling the stuff, and I said, hey, how much do you want for the pack, or for the Spirit trap? And they said, well, oh, you want the pack too? And I'm like, no, I don't need that. I just want the trap. And so I think it was like $40. But when I got it, so this is, and I didn't know much about the various traps that are out there on the market, so I had to look it up. And this comes with a foot pedal. And I came to realize on Sunday that for whatever reason, it lights up, but when I press the pedal, it doesn't, the motor doesn't pop open the doors anymore.
Oh, shoot.
So I don't know if the battery's dead enough or whatnot, but whatever. But I found out that this happens to be a Walmart trap, because it comes with the foot pedal.
Okay.
The Spirit trap, which looks almost identical, like trap wise, had lights and sounds, and this would pop open, but it didn't have a pedal attachment.
Interesting.
So this was a Walmart trap, and it was perfect and like super shiny and brand new, and all this was all white.
Yeah.
And this was all white. So I ended up buying some paint, and then something called Rub and Buff at Michael's craft store, and I painted it, and I have like some rust on it, and I just wanted to make it look like it had been put through the ringer and had been used to trap multiple ghosts. And maybe the reason this doesn't work is because this is full right now.
There you go.
And I haven't put it in the containment yet. And so they're not going to let it pop open when there's something in there that you don't want to get out.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Well, do you have a PKE meter?
I
wants to
will.
know.
I not yet.
Yeah, I have this. This is the Spirit one.
Yeah.
And
That is really nice.
Yes. So I have this, and this is good for what it is, but I'm looking forward. So this right here, what I have in my hands, this is what HasLab is making.
Yeah.
And the HasLab ones are going to be a lot more much better, much, this is going to have EMF detection, and it's probably got a lot of other different features that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And this here, so if you ever watch in the movies when they put the ghost into the containment unit down in the basement of the firehouse, this right here lifts up, pulls out, and so you just have the basic trap frame, and this is attached, and then this sticks into the wall containment unit.
Yeah.
So in the HasLab one, this will actually be removable, and you'll be able to do that kind of stuff. And there's going to be lights inside. And so I would probably say long answer to get to answer your question, but this is probably my favorite, other than like the HasLab suit or pack, because I took a lot of time and I went to it didn't have a lot of the warning labels on it either.
Yeah.
And I found a guy on Etsy that sells labels for the various traps, whether it be Spirit or and he had two versions. He had regular and he had distressed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to distress the trap, so I want them to look old and worn and used and whatnot. So yeah.
Very cool.
Do you have a favorite item?
It probably is. It probably is the HasLab. But aside from that, I mean, the old real Ghostbuster house is just pretty nifty.
Oh, sure.
The other thing that I was really now I showed this a little bit before, and I still need to go into the stuff of what's on it, but this is the 4K limited collector's set that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And this has let's see, capture all the generation spanning ghost trapping and slime fighting fun with the Ghostbusters Ultimate Collection. Special features, 20 hours of special features across the films.
Wow.
Rare early preview cut of the film in SD with filmmaker commentary, reflections from Ivan and Jason Reitman on select scenes, lost auditions for the role of Dana Barrett, TV version of the film in SD, feature commentaries, deleted scenes, featurette, music video, and more. Ghostbusters 2's never before seen deleted scenes, reflections from Ivan and Jason on certain scenes, TV version of the film in SD, music commentary, music video, and much more. And then Ghostbusters Afterlife, we got one, Easter eggs revealed, the Gearhead's Guide to the Ghostbusters gadgets, and more. But the Ghostbusters special features has multiple takes from when Venkman is going through Dana's apartment the first time.
Oh, wow.
And there's a ton. I mean, I think they just decided to plop everything down. It just feels like they just gave us everything.
Wow.
And I mean, it probably isn't. But I love how it looks. I love how it looks like a trap.
Yes.
And the cool thing is it opens. It opens in the center like a trap, and in it you've got Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters 2, making Ghostbusters, and special features.
Wow.
And so there's a lot. I'll kind of go through those in a second, but what's really nifty is this. Come on. Anyway, I want to make this all dramatic.
Oh, ha ha ha!
And there's a sensor that turns on
When you open it,
when you open it.
wow.
Yeah, I was just blown away. Oh, say so
Yeah.
so Making Ghostbusters is the book, and somebody was saying that the book was kind of rare at one time, and I don't know if it was larger, if they shrunk it down, but it's got like it's got movie scenes, or it's got scripts and notes,
Yeah.
and
Book Girl
just
R wants to know why we don't have that. Because I believe it's out of print,
it is
and
out of print.
I didn't know when it was out, that I
Yeah,
didn't know that I needed it. I don't remember seeing it
I
until
dumb lucked
Jamie
into this.
mentioned it in a recent Zoom chat we had. So
Yeah,
I
dumb
have to
lucked
see
into
if I
this
can
myself.
find myself a copy of it.
Yeah, these are kind of pricey now. At the time, they sold for 90, I think, and then for a very, very short time, because I wasn't going to do that, for a very short time, they sold for 50, and on Amazon, and I snagged.
Oh,
And yeah, and so okay, so here's Ghostbusters. There's the back. I love the back.
oh, wow.
And then so like I think like these are mostly, I think the 4Ks can be had, most of the 4K stuff can be had separately. Just some of the features
Yeah,
that are unique to this are in the making, or in the special features one itself. But Ghostbusters 2,
what is the entire package called? Ghostbusters.
for the Ghostbusters Ultimate Collection in
Okay.
4K. And here's Vigo on the back.
Oh, Vigo. Yes.
And again, I think these are the same as the separate editions.
Okay.
And that's pretty cool. Now, Ghostbusters Afterlife, it just looks like the distressed version of the original logo. And
I'm
you
looking
see
it up right now, but yeah.
the little mini puffs.
Oh, very nice.
What is it going like on eBay? What is it going for?
So,
Right
well, I'm on Amazon right now.
now? Okay.
Ghostbusters Ultimate Collection, Ghostbusters 1 plus 2 plus Afterlife, 4K, UHD, Blu-ray. Ooh. It's almost what I paid for the Proton pack.
Oh my god.
$329.
Ouch.
So let
Oh,
me, yes, yikes is right. So we'll have to look on eBay. But yeah, I mean,
so this is the special edition, or the special features.
oh wow,
This is the
okay,
special features. This is the important part, besides the cool looking trap. And you get 2 Blu-ray discs
uh,
full of special features, and I'll take these off so you can see the back. I love that.
oh wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I won't pay it.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
No. I was quoting the guy. I won't pay it.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, then we'll just put this right back into the.
Yeah. I love that. I had no idea it'd be so outrageous. I won't pay it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh, Ghostbusters Ultimate Collection. So, so one of the cheap ones, it's $150, but it says place bid. It doesn't say buy it now. So you know that by the time the bids are over, it's gonna be nope.
Yep. This is like, of the newer stuff, this is probably high up there for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a kid, like some of the Ghostbusters things where it would light up and you had different ghosts that you could like project onto the wall. Some of that stuff is, I mean, that's always gonna have a special place, right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, Yeah, it's well, and also I don't know if you saw these back in the day, but the little Hardee's toys that make sound.
Oh, no. Well, growing up in Rochester, we don't have Hardee's here.
Oh shoot. Okay, so
The
they would
only
be Carl's Jr.
Nope, we don't have them either.
Oh shoot. Okay. Yeah, so around the time of the Ghostbusters 2 in 1989,
Yeah.
Hardee's or Carl's Jr. I don't know if they were the same at the time, but maybe. But Hardee's did a tie-in with Ghostbusters 2, and so they had a bunch of different Ghostbusters 2 things.
Mhm.
And what's interesting is my co-host on the EAP Society, John Michael, actually got a hold of the store display that Hardee's had
Oh, wow.
for those, and he said he's going to bring it. He's going to bring it down from their attic. He said it's not in the best of condition, but just to see one of those
Yeah.
would be really cool. So when he does that, I told him, I said, before you do anything with it, I want to see, yeah, the we have Wegmans though. We don't have that. I don't even know what that
Oh,
is.
yeah. No, Wegmans is a supermarket, and it's probably considered one of the best supermarket chains in the country, if not
Okay,
the world. So
cool.
Wegmans is very well known, and a lot of people that come to the area love it. And when they leave, or if they've grown up here and they leave, they miss it.
Ah, okay. Nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, I have never been. So at some point we'll have to change that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just amazing, something that took so many iterations before the first film finally came out, almost wasn't even called Ghostbusters. It could have been Ghost Stoppers. It could have been, if was it not trying to think, was it Universal or somebody that who was it that owned the rights? They had the Ghostbusters cartoon with
Oh, Filmation.
Filmation.
No.
That's it. Filmation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Filmation. Yeah. And to think that Ghostbusters almost wasn't Ghostbusters
Yes, because of that.
because of that, and yeah, well, and actually that one didn't start out as a cartoon. That one started out as a live action show. It was almost like a private detective type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And um and what's funny is when I saw the Ghostbusters cartoon, I thought, oh wow, that's a knockoff of Ghostbusters, of the real Ghostbusters. But they just added like a weird, they just, but it worked, but it makes sense because they basically took the formula from the live action show and just tried to, try to slap it together. Now I wish I could find it, but there were some audiobooks, and I've got an audiobook for Ninja Turtles, which is utterly hilarious. We'll talk about that in a bit. But did you see any of the book and tape Ghostbusters stories from like the mid to late 80s?
No.
So there were a few, and one of them I actually checked out from the library, and I'd love to find it again. I thought I might have had one at one time, but I don't think so. But they had a completely different Ghostbusters theme, and it was actually Ghostbusters.
Oh.
But for whatever reason, they decided they didn't want to pay for, or the company didn't own the rights, so they made another song, and it's not bad.
Huh.
It's really not bad. It's like, I mean, it's a little cheap. I mean, it's made for a kid's book, right? So it's not going to be, amazing. But
so it's like an actual song then.
Yeah.
Because I will say this, a lot of people, when you ask them what is the main theme to Ghostbusters, they're going to say, who you going to call? And they're going to say Ray Parker Jr.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
Right.
Because the main theme to Ghostbusters, that is the theme. But Ray Parker Jr., the song stuck in everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And it became so popular Stealing from Huey Lewis. Excuse me. And
You're right.
and so that's what everyone latches onto when they think of the theme to Ghostbusters. But if you're talking like theme, the running musical theme, it's not the lyrical Ray Parker Jr. song. It's the actual music, the background, the soundtrack for the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. And that's another thing too, is that the scores for Ghostbusters 1 and 2 came out not too long ago. And those are beautiful.
Yeah.
Those are really. I'm trying to see if I can find see Ghost. I'm trying to see if I can find the see Spirits Unleashed, Ghostbusters Meet the Laser Lord. There it is.
Okay.
Or Meet the Laser Ghost. And anyway, so it's a book and recording by Peter Pan, and includes the sing-along song Ghostbusting Machine. And and it's let me see if I can do I'll do a web search and see song. I'm gonna see if I can okay. Hopefully we won't get dinged for like copyright or something. I'm gonna see if I can see.
Huh.
Anyway, so if you look up Ghostbusting Machine, Ghostbusters Meet the Laser Ghost.
Okay.
This was a story. This was a Peter Pan storybook, and they made their own theme. And considering it's for a one-off kids book,
yeah,
not bad. Like somebody, somebody actually tried, which is cool. But which is more than I can say for certain aspects of the Ninja Turtles one. Oh, good night, nurse. This bad boy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Complete Adventure. And let me take this thing out of the back so we can see all of it, because this is, let's see, follow the blueprints. It's easy. This is my how to put the Technodrome together.
Oh,
the instruction manual for the Technodrome toy from back in the day.
All right.
And thanks to that, it's in perfect condition. All right, cool. So this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Complete Adventure, and this essentially tells the story. It's essentially season 1 from the cartoon.
Okay.
But the drawings were done in more like the early style, at least on the cover, and some of the artwork on the inside, like you can see it's not meant to look necessarily like the cartoon exactly.
Yeah.
It's a little more like a, kind of like some of the comic covers, the post Eastman and Laird comic covers, or when they were kind of, there's another run, actually the same run that I believe that was used for the NES, the cover of the NES game. Anyway, the voices are a choice. The voices are interesting. Shredder is not bad. April takes some getting used to. Donatello definitely takes some getting used to. Krang sounds like Dr. Claw, which is weird. And
gotcha.
And yeah, exactly. Like I want my bottle, like kind of thing. And then like Shredder, and but it's weird. And if you thought the neutrinos in the cartoon sounded like 40-year-olds trying to sound like teenagers, this makes the cartoon voices sound like Oscar-winning, like Oscar submission material.
Nice.
but nothing compares to Splinter. Oh boy, Splinter is done dirty in a way that does not age well at all. And I sometime I'm going to put some of it up on Jack Life. I'm going to do a thing talking about this. If you've ever heard comedians trying to do a parody version of greeters at a Chinese restaurant.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh yes. It's horrible. It's I just think it's hard. It's I mean, and it's so bad that even if you are not culturally sensitive, it would be hard to listen to. There's a reason I didn't really listen to this as a kid. Ouch. It's so bad. But then when you bring the cultural aspect into it, oh man, it doesn't do well.
Sure. No, I yeah. Wow.
It's like, with the rounded R's and the whole 9 yards, like, oh no. And so yeah, but I found that because I was like, oh cool, look at those cassettes, because they did ones, I mean, not better than that, but they did ones like that for the Man of Steel miniseries, the John Byrne miniseries. They actually did cassette tape read along things.
Wow,
for those.
okay.
Yeah, and those are not bad. They're especially compared to this. Those are not bad. And I was thinking, oh, cool, a Ninja Turtles one. That's right. Yeah, I forgot I had this. And you go and they're like, yeah, that's about my reaction. The sirens went off in my head.
So, well, I'm seeing Joshua's here.
Oh, fantastic! Fantastic, ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Oden. Go ahead and bring him in.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Josh.
How's it going?
There's a turtle right there.
Yeah.
There is. Got all the guys here.
I love
How's
it.
Going?
Turtles.
Good. We just got done talking about this.
Yeah, I got to catch a little bit of that. That the Splinter. That sounds rough.
It is. It is. It's hard. I mean, no matter what, it's just hard to listen to because the voice itself is so bad.
Yeah.
But now, so many years later, it's even worse. And gotcha. Donatello, because we're used to either the cartoon cast or the movie cast or whatever, and Donatello sounds like he should have been voicing Raphael.
Okay.
Because they gave him a thick, like a New York type accent.
Gotcha.
And it's like, I'm trying to get this thing to work here, and it's like, oh man, just like, oh, my brain itches and I can't stop. And so yeah, so we've been talking a lot about Ghostbusters, and you come on at a perfect time because
yes, we'll segue over to Turtles.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so Joshua has an amazing. Give us the official title for the turtle van.
The Party Wagon.
Party Wagon. No, I mean for your page.
Oh yeah, Tennessee Turtles.
Tennessee Turtles. That's awesome. So we talked to Steve about doing events and all that stuff with the Ghostbusters, and I thought, you know what, this is perfect, and that's why I said even if the light wasn't coming on properly. By the way, love the. Now, is that TCRI or TGRI in the back?
That's TGRI in the back.
Beautiful. From Turtles 2. Love it. And so I thought, you know what? We talked to Steve about that in the Ghostbusters realm. What got you started into putting the turtle van together and starting the Tennessee Turtles?
So, I've always, I don't know how much you know about the other stuff that I do, but I have several star cars. So I've got the 67 Impala from Supernatural.
Nice.
I've got the 77 Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit. So I love star cars. My dad, he likes old cars, and I've always loved the star cars, and that's where our mutual love meets. And so we like repairing them and building them together. And I was actually, I've always loved the Turtles. They came out the same year I came out, so
Nice.
that's a big one.
Nice. What was your first before we go on past that? What was your first thing that got you into the Turtles?
It was probably trying to think. I saw the original movie in the theater. I don't remember a whole lot of like being there, but I do remember we went and saw it in the theater, and I specifically remember seeing 2 in the theater multiple times. At a place called Grove Theater that's no longer it's no longer open now, but the cartoon obviously, and I even had some of those books you're talking about, but I don't remember the voices at all, so I'd love to be able to hear that again.
Yeah. I made a copy. I made a transfer of this. So if you end up having the others, if you want to send them up, I can do transfers, whatever you need. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But with the van, I was actually coming back from Florida on a family trip with everybody, and my wife was driving, and I was sitting there on my phone, and I was just I was looking at some old vans, just other things. I was like, well, what's the next star car I'm going to make? I was looking at some Ford Tauruses because I thought I might make the RoboCop OCP, the squad car. And I started looking at this van, and I was like, I could make that. I can make that. And then so I grabbed some, photos of the cartoon, and I started photoshopping it onto different vans, some Chevy vans, some old Ford Econoline vans. And, I just kept, but I came back to VW Vanagons.
Yep.
And I was really trying to find like a 70s something model that already had the flat face on it.
Yeah.
But those in any kind of good condition at all are already super expensive. So what I ended up finding was a 1985 VW Vanagon for about $4,000. Had a couple of problems, but nothing that we couldn't sort out. And I was like, I still think we can make this work. And so, me and Dad, we built a custom front end to it that attached to the front of the windshield and the main block in the front. Yeah. And flattened it out. We put some sheet metal on it, cut out the slits for their armor that drops down. Amazon had some, had the perfect rear view mirrors that I needed.
Cool.
PVC pipe and some paint and a little bit of ingenuity. We got the cannons going now. The tenderizer, the foot tenderizer is really the hardest thing because, how do you make that giant door? So that was probably the hardest part. And then I was trying to figure out where I was going to buy a spoiler at. Like, I was like, where am I going to get the spoiler that I need to, put on this thing? And I was telling my dad about it. And, I go to work during the day, and I had left the toy wagon there at the house. I came back. I went to work one morning, came back at 3:00 in the afternoon, and it was attached and on top of the van.
Oh,
nice.
Like, he just built the entire thing in like 8 hours.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So.
And Kristen says, is there a Turtle DMV? What would their written tests look like?
That's hilarious.
I love it. Yeah. I have a feeling that Donatello was the first one driving in that. And then after a while, Leo probably, I think he trained everybody else.
Yeah. I don't know that Mikey's ever gotten a license. I don't know that I've seen him drive before, but I don't think that should probably ever be. And Raph, are you kidding me? Raph driving in New York traffic? Like, that's not gonna go well for anybody.
No, Mr. Road Rage? I don't think so.
No.
Now,
I'm sorry that
I have to have a soft spot for Donnie.
Yes.
For obvious reasons.
Is that that's PS? That's Prop Shop Garage, isn't it?
Yes, this is Prop Shop Garage. I actually talked to Josh. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to come on to talk about it. But these things are absolutely amazing, and I love that there's
oh my gosh,
a tongue and teeth in there, and we're working on the stuff to put inside so that so I can do this.
Dude, that's
nice.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And it's so much fun to be in the costume. the crazy thing about the suits is, well, you can't breathe, so that's
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But and then we put padding in between because I'm smaller than the suit generally is.
Yeah.
And but the crazy thing is, well, not crazy, but like all ages. Young kids come running up the turtle, absolutely love it.
Yep.
Our age, running up to the turtle because it's the 1990, and they're like, that's exactly, to the kids,
Right.
it's one of the turtles. To the adults, it's like, oh, that's my, so you get all of that mixed in together, which is just beautiful from a geek perspective.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And when I was trying to run this by my wife, and we was on vacation with her family when I was coming up with this plan. We stopped at a rest area. I came out of the car and I was like, I think I'm gonna just do this. I think we're gonna build this thing. And so many of them were like, don't do that. Like, you need to do something else. Do something else. I was like, they've never been off the air in my lifetime. I was like, they've never been. I was like, ask any child that you see, ask anybody, like you just said, my age or below,
Yep.
and they have their favorite version of these characters.
Exactly. Yep. Like this was my very, very first turtle.
That's
I got
awesome.
when Walmart in Boone first came around, I went and the reason I bought this, because I was not actually into the turtles. I was still coming off the He-Man kick or whatever. I can't remember what it was I was watching, but and I was like, that seems kind of strange. What got me into the turtles was the first NES game.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Of all of the things to get into, the turtles through, the
Yeah.
first NES game, and Donatello, I didn't know their personalities. I didn't know anything else like that, because the NES game doesn't really give you any of that.
Yeah.
The only thing I knew was this weapon reached through the floor and you could beat the crap out of enemies from the next floor down. And I'm just like, cool, he's got the longest reach. He's obviously the best turtle. So I had to have this. And then I bought a foot soldier, and then I got a few of the others, and then I saw the cartoon.
Oh wow. I don't know many people that's been introduced via the video game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be the only freak. But and then it's wild to think, and of course, these big guys from back in the day. And I remember buying those, and then after getting into the cartoon, I would have just absolutely, okay, let's be very gentle. I would have killed for something as cool as these NECA, these giant NECA ones.
Oh yeah.
Something that I'd love to do is to do something with foam work or whatever, and actually make the cartoon as a costume.
Oh yeah.
So as opposed to the film, you got like the original, since and actually with the party wagon. Now, which version is yours? Yours is based on the toy?
Yeah,
right?
mine's based on the toy. Yeah.
Yeah. So so ones like the old action figures would be especially cool.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so going back to the question, or going back to what we were talking about originally. So for the events and all that kind of stuff, how did you get started doing the events with the Tennessee Turtles?
Well, since I kind of created it, because I told all the guys, I was like, listen, because I got a bunch of turtle guys down here that we did cosplay with, and none of them had suits yet. But they're like, listen, I was like, you build the van, we're gonna get the suits. And I was like, okay, awesome. I was like, I'll start building the van, and so we built the van, got the suits going, and then I already had several contacts from traveling with Supernatural, traveling to other conventions. We were actually growing the page. We had a Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, but we had an original page as well. And we were closing in finally like on 1,000 people, which is still not a lot, but for our little small area that we're in,
not bad.
Yeah. A hacker came in, stole it, so we're having to rebuild our Facebook page from the ground up again. So we lost a lot of contacts doing that. Man. But really, it's all just kind of word of mouth. I'm terrible at running our Instagram page and the Facebook. I'm terrible at all of that. I kind of let it when I'm like, oh, I should probably post something to that. but yeah, it seems to just be word of mouth mostly. We'll go do like some sort of like outdoor movie event, or we've done a couple of charities. A bunch of the turtles do charities for East Tennessee Children's Hospital here in Knoxville, Tennessee. So people will see us there. Done a couple of school outings, and yeah, it's just kind of word of mouth seems to travel.
Yeah. Is there one reaction from any particular, like, I mean, you don't have to remember names or anything like that, but is there one reaction that sticks in your head that people either had to the van or to the van and the turtles that you're like, oh God, that's probably the best reaction we've ever gotten from an individual or group?
Okay, so I'd probably split it into two different ones, tying for my favorites.
Yeah.
We had a family travel 3.5 or 4 hours to a convention that we were just going to be at, and they only came to the convention with like their 6-year-old daughter just to see us. Stood around, and we don't come out until like middle of the day because, as you know, the suits are brutal. They're really hard to wear, and yeah, that was super sweet. They drew us pictures and stuff of us and said, we're her favorite. That's the only thing she cares about. And they literally just stood in front of our booth for like 3 hours waiting for us to all get there and get changed. And then they were the nicest people. They were all sweet. They were completely understanding. They said, it doesn't matter how long it takes for you all to get, everything set up. This is all we care about. This is all she cares. And good on the parents. I mean, the parents drove their 6-year-old 3.5, 4 hours just to stand and see us for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I want to know when you're driving or when you're in that van.
Yes.
What is the field of vision like?
Okay, so we cannot drive the van as the turtles. The shell and everything else just won't allow for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can drive it as Casey with the turtles in the back. Now, the van. Let's see if I've got this here. Hang on a minute. My van, it's too dark to see it outside, but I do have this. So if I can.
That's
okay.
amazing.
Okay. So we have the slits cut open, not quite as big as this one is shown here in this picture. But then when that front shield drops down, the slits are very, very thin. So when it's, I guess, in battle mode or attack mode or whatever, it's super thin. But when I remove those, it's actually not bad at all. And I'm getting ready to install like one of those rear view cameras, but I'm actually going to install it in the front of the van. And so I'll end up having like a 10-inch iPad right beneath the window. So I'll be able to see everything, no problem.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I'm sure you get people like speeding up and all that kind of stuff because they have to look at it.
Yeah, people like I can't drive it too much because they'll go past it and not, because from the back all you see is a van, right, with a giant spoiler on it, and it's kind of like, that's weird. And then as soon as they go past me, they look in the rearview mirror and you'll see the brake lights slam on and start to trail back, and they don't even pay attention to if there's 3 or 4 cars behind them.
Right?
Yeah. So that's I don't drive it out. I don't drive it out very much anymore. I'll end up usually towing it somewhere. Just try to be a little bit safer with it. And I'll remove the cannons and take the stickers and all the decals and everything off of it. So it's, I mean, a turtle fan's still going to know what it is, but at least then I can kind of maybe not have accidents.
Exactly.
Well, I look at that van, and I look at like your Impala. Yeah. And I've seen other Impalas, and it's not out of the realm of, yes, there are a number of people who've done the Impala. I don't know is there's anyone that's done the turtle van toy.
So there's one other guy, and his name is Jake. My kid's coughing. I don't know if you can hear. Are you okay? Okay. I don't know. It's my kid. I'm not just on a phone call.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not just on a phone call. Go. Sorry
this
about
is marketing.
No worries.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. So, wait, what was? I'm so sorry.
You're talking about the other turtle van.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jason Yaba, and he actually was Babu in the Power Rangers. and he hauls the turtle van.
Okay.
And he's out like in California or somewhere, and like this dude, he travels with Vanilla Ice. Like he travels with him. When you see the turtles up on stage with Vanilla Ice, that's the guy that's doing it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Hang on one second, guys. I gotta grab something and plug in. It has been such a long day that I'm about to lose you.
Yeah, it's all good, man. You do what you gotta do. It's all good. Yeah, we're just glad you're here. We appreciate you coming. And
not AJ. Not AJ. I'm about to lose the boys.
Yep. And while he's plugging in, we'll show you some other really nifty turtle things. For those of us that grew up on the original toys, obviously all of these things, I found as you all saw, I just saw the original instructions for how to put together the old Technodrome toy. And if you want your fix for whether it be movie turtles or cartoon turtles or whatever, there went Donatello. NECA definitely has you covered, because some of the most gorgeous detail and everything else. Sometimes lace can be a little weird, but yeah,
that is very nice.
Yeah. It's really, really, really well done. And but one of the other cool things, as far as NECA, is they're you can tell that they're nerds like us, because, for instance, this is their figure pack for Secret of the Ooze, and it looks as close as the figures, because these are actual pictures of the figures.
Oh, wow.
They get them as close as they can to look like the box art for the old VHS tapes.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so then you lift this up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And their Turtles 2 figures are movie accurate to the second film, the way the first, so that way it's, like Donatello's very different face versus the first film, and all
they've got more spots in the second one, don't they?
Yeah, they got more spots. The faces are like, the eyes are bigger.
Yeah.
The eyes are bigger. The expressions are, it's kind of like if the third film, which we went back and watched it, it wasn't as bad as I remember. It was still a fun watch, but nowhere, it wasn't a speck on the first film especially, and I don't think it was a speck on the second one either. But if you look at the third film as being a live action version of the cartoon, because like this kind of face style, Turtles 2 is sort of a happy medium. And as a kid, I remember almost liking Turtles 2 more than Turtles 1.
I can see that,
just because it was so much fun, right?
Yeah.
And like, it was not a lot of heavy moments. I think obviously as you get older, it's like then you can kind of see what is so cool about the first film. I mean, and I loved it. Obviously, I loved it as a kid. I even went out to go see the Coming Out of Our Shells tour.
Oh, wow.
When it came to Des Moines, I still have my ticket.
That's awesome.
Boy, those costumes were rough. Well, like at the time, I remember going, their mouths aren't even moving.
Yeah.
Like, and the only way the mouths would move is when they jump, the mouth would do like this kind of stuff. So if you combined it, like if you think about it like that, the Turtles 3 costumes are actually not bad compared to that Five Nights at Freddy's looking like type stuff. And then of course, and I like how like the accessories pack for this looks like the and now in this case these are not the figures. This is like the artwork for the poster, one of the movie posters, and the CD soundtrack.
That's so cool.
Kind of cool. See, Reginald said, right, this old person needs sleep at nearly 2 a.m. So Steve, the Buster, Joshua, the Shelled Turtle, and Jamie, the Super Everything fan, I wish you a good night and happy Halloween to you too.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Yes. And, so so you were talking about the first. You talked about the first reaction.
Yeah.
What was the other one that was your favorite?
A 300-pound, like 6'5" dude, bright red hair, huge beard. Looks like he should have been in one of the the Viking or one of the HBO shows going on or something like that. Comes up and starts crying at the van and like telling his wife, like, this is my childhood. I can't believe this exists. I can't believe we're actually seeing this.
Yep.
And like he just lost it emotionally. And I've seen people do that before, but never someone of such a large manly stature as this man. So that was something to behold. And I was like, you just take your time, buddy. Just take your time.
Exactly.
Soak it in.
Soak it in. I love that. Like Steve and I were talking about how costumes are such a great conversation piece, a conversation starter with people. But the other thing that it's really cool is I love diving into the psychology of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I particularly love the psychology of people's reactions to costumes.
Yeah.
And is one of my favorite stories with the Deadpool costume. It was Halloween, and everybody's in costume because it's Halloween. So a girl comes up and she says, this is one of the. I mean, Deadpool is one of the few costumes where they come up and they're appropriate, because in Jack they're generally not. But she comes up and she says, "Hey, would you be willing to come over and take a picture, because my boyfriend is a huge fan of yours." She didn't say, "My boyfriend is a huge Deadpool fan and that costume is great." She goes, "My boyfriend is a huge fan of yours." And so, like, in her head, that was natural to like you are the character,
right?
At that, and I, there was a moment in Metropolis the same way when Rhonda and I, the first year when we went down as Superman and then the Linda Danvers Supergirl, so it wasn't Superman's cousin, and then the next day we were Clark and Lana, because at the time Rhonda was blonde, and a lady that had seen us in costume the next day, she goes, "Oh, look, there's Superman and Supergirl," and I go, like that,
Nice.
and she goes, "Oh, sorry." And just for that moment, she was in the world of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And watching people experience that, or just or any kind of a strong reaction like that, is such a beautiful thing, because so many things out there are just built, seems like they're built to make people angry, to make people frustrated. And like that's the thing that I love about geekery in general. And just all of these different energies and all these different things that you just that make people laugh, make people smile, and it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Josh, what you're doing with Tennessee Turtles, Steve, what you're doing with the with the Rochester Ghostbusters. And that's, we do that. I try to do that with a bunch of different things. We're starting a Twilight mobile museum that is like screen worn costumes from the films.
Oh wow.
So if you know any like movie theaters or whatever that would be interested in something like this, I mean, obviously it's we have pricing and whatever, but because it is like a lot of, we didn't have to, thankfully we didn't get the costumes for much, but their value is considerable, especially now that Robert Pattinson is freaking Batman.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Yeah. You can't get a T-shirt for what we got full costumes for. It's just after that happened, it was nuts. It was kind of insane. There was somebody sold a sweater from the first film, and it sold for 2 times what I paid for an entire costume, including a jacket that was custom made by Belstaff, who makes jackets that can cost up to $60,000, which I can't even fathom. I don't understand. I would never pay $60,000 for a jacket. And it was like canary yellow. It was like, it would look great on April O'Neil.
Nice.
but yeah, but it looked like yeah. Anyway, it was very odd. But let's see. So what else was I gonna ask you? Oh yeah. So besides the van, do you collect Turtles stuff as well?
I do. I've got the if my game room man cave wasn't an absolute mess, you all were talking about Ghostbusters. The kids at the school that I work at, they were like, "Do you have anything cool you can wear tomorrow?" And I was like, "I've got a few things," because they're not really familiar with like cosplay and any of that. Definitely nothing of that side of me for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got all of my proton packs strapped out throughout the room, trying to figure out which one I'm going to wear and what I'm going to take in. And but I've got the arcade. I've got the 4-player arcade. I've got quite a few pictures on the wall, some handmade stuff. I've actually got so we debuted the lair. We built a pop-up lair at this last convention we went to, and a buddy of mine, he made like all of the piping and stuff that you'd find on the walls. So I've got that actually at my house stored in my game room, and it runs along the walls, kind of the way it does in the lair.
Yeah.
Some of the old toys, I'm trying to recollect, stuff that I've got. I've got most of the '90s series. I don't have all of it, but I've got most.
Yeah.
And then I've got a cave creature workshop Leonardo suit.
Okay.
That's my suit.
Very
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Those are really good too.
Yeah.
Is there a piece that's your favorite out of everything?
Man. I mean,
it's a tough pick. I know.
It's a lot of good pick. Stuff. I know because that's what we're talking about, and so it seems kind of silly not to pick it, but also me and Dad made the van together, so like like a lot of cool stuff that I have in there. I've got stuff autographed by a bunch of the original Turtles and everything, but it's nice. Me and my dad built this with our own hands, so like the van's probably my favorite thing.
That's awesome. No, I absolutely love that. The is there I mean, you don't I'm just trying to think about if you would want to, if you don't have to say if you'd rather not, is there a favorite signature that you were most excited to get?
It's so hard to pick just one. Like probably Paul's, just because he's everybody, like he's everyone. So probably him, even though I'm a Leonardo and Mikey guy, and he's Raph and Donnie, but still probably still him.
Yeah, that's cool. Is there one that you don't have yet that you?
I don't have Shredder. I need Shredders from the '90s movie, and I missed him at this last convention. I really wanted to get his. We were supposed to be teamed up with Keno, with Ernie Reyes Jr. at the second to last con, but he had some sort of family emergency and everything. But he was literally going to be right next to us. We were going to do photo ops with him and the van and all the Turtles. So hoping we can make that happen again. Judith has been super awesome. Every time we've met her, we've got photos with Judith a bunch of times, and she's came over and just kind of talked a little bit with us, which was nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, but so far every Turtle celeb has been just incredible.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Is it speaking of that, is there anybody that had like probably your favorite reaction out of the people of the celebs?
Well, okay, so when I tell them about it, they all have the same reaction. If I tell them, hey, I've got this and everything. But Judith is the only one that's actually been at the convention when the van has been there at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the only one. So I guess I'd have to say that hers is the best, only because she's the only one that's physically seen it.
Right.
Now,
right.
Okay. When you're out with the van, do you bring the toy along so that you can show people this is the same?
I did for the first several conventions we went to. Yeah. And then, so two things. One, everyone wanted to buy it. Like, this is for sale, this is for sale, this is for sale. I was like, no, it's not for sale. It's just for looks. And then I took it to, I'm not going to name the con, but I took it to one con, and the kid rolled it off the end of our table to the floor. Luckily, nothing broke on it, but I was like, okay, we're done bringing this along with us.
Yeah, so sure.
Yeah.
I don't blame you a bit. Oh my gosh, that'd be scary.
Yeah, 'cause that was my original toy. Like that was mine, not like a recreation or something. I was like, okay, well that one needs to. So we got a bunch of stickers made. We've got stickers made now of the turtle van, so they can see that, and then they can also, they can buy those.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. The and I think they remade the turtle van. Playmates came out with a reprint, and it's funny. I was for a short while. I was kind of interested in the redo of the blimp, but the main part where the turtles would sit isn't the same. It's off of the second version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they just took the second version one and used it with the first version blimp part. It's very strange.
I'm gonna have to look at that because I almost bought it myself a couple of times because I've got photos of me, as like 5 years old, with that blimp sitting behind me as my main birthday present I got that year.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I always wanted that as a kid, and I never did get it. But
it deflated like a week and a half after I got it. So,
oh, let me tell you, that's actually not bad.
Yeah.
when I tell you this story, they made an inflatable battle cat.
Okay.
That you could ride.
Oh, this doesn't sound good.
Oh, and it looked. I mean, as a kid, I thought it looked freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And so my birthday is in February. So for my birthday, they got me. My parents got me one.
Yeah.
And so it's got a place for a kid to sit and jump around and whatever. And I've always been really good with my toys. That thing lasted 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
The seams were atrocious on this thing. And so they took it back to the store, got another one, thinking, oh, it's a fluke, 10 minutes later, same deal.
Oh my God.
And although, I wish they took it back and said, well, this is garbage, to send it back. Of course, now I'm thinking, crap, they should have just, I wish we'd kept it in the box.
Right.
But
the things we don't know as children.
Even if there's a hole in it, just fold it back up, put it in the box. No, but it's still going to be in great condition except for like the one hole.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, and the folks had a pool at the time, so they had like stuff to like patch seams and things. And,
Oh yeah.
And they tried nothing. It just wouldn't take. And but yeah, so yeah. It's kids inflatable crap back in the 80s and 90s was not the best. No, not so much.
My turtle blimp had many a duct tape patches all over it. Which I mean, I think that probably only lent to the the reality of what I was playing with.
Yeah.
Right. Well, ducks, turtles. There's an aquatic theme. It's fine. Oh my gosh!
Now, do you have the Pizza Hut music cassette?
Yeah,
that's cool.
I own it. I don't know where it is, but I remember playing it a lot because I really liked it, and I'm surprised that I really liked it.
Yeah,
like I wasn't expecting it to be like actual singers that were like really good at what they were singing.
Yeah, it's a pretty overall. It's a solid album. It's on Amazon Music. You can buy it digitally.
Oh, excellent! All right.
I still like if I'm cleaning the garage, it's great music to like clean up a room to, or just doing like kind of like busy work or something where I don't need my ears. Like because like if obviously I can't listen to it if I'm mixing audio, but like but yeah, it's oh man, it's great. Like let's see. Speaking of pizza boxes, this has since been replaced in terms of quality, but you can't beat
Yeah. Oh, seriously. Wow.
That's awesome.
You can't beat the pizza box design. So it's
No.
one of those things where I can't get rid of it. And it's got like a little headband, I guess,
That's
because
cool.
because 90s. And oh, you know what? Okay, there's two more, because I think it also had the CGI, the 2000. When did it come out?
7?
2000.
I think it's
Was that?
2000. I think it's 2007, wasn't it?
Yeah. Not the not the newest ones, but
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it looks
cool.
like the old trading cards, kind of, actually, now that I look at it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had ones for there we go. Those are the 4 films that are in it. A brawl 25 years in the making.
What I would kill to be able to see that with the 90s style suits in live action.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the last Ronin that's coming out?
I'm excited. I enjoyed the comic.
Yeah.
I thought the comic was really good. I do have to say, not crazy about the costume, not crazy about they weren't costumes, they were CG. I wasn't crazy about the way the turtles looked, but I was, after seeing so many things where where personalities would change in so many things, like I was so disappointed, obviously, in Man of Steel and that kind of stuff. Everybody, my dislike for, I like Henry Cavill, but the movies I wasn't crazy about. My dislike of that is pretty well known at this point. But the characterization of the turtles in the Michael Bay films, I was surprised at how much they got that I wasn't. I was that I was actually good with.
Yeah.
It kind of surprised me, but like that in, if they weren't the size of a Mack truck, it might be, and that's really, these are things that are in this set. Here's where we get a little weird. Okay, so all right, Splinter looks good. Splinter looks fine.
Nice.
The drawing on the back is odd, but not bad. And then let's see, where else have we got here? All of the other pictures. Let's see if you can pick up what movie we're pulling pictures from at this point.
Okay.
So here's Casey.
3.
Well done. Well done. It becomes more apparent when you see the, I don't know, cross between Michael Jackson and J-Lo shot they have for April.
Yeah, that's
what
for sure. 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they trying to make her hip? Like, I don't understand the leather and stuff.
Why is she wearing green?
I think all of the art on the back is red and green.
Okay.
So I think that's what they're going for.
All right.
Is everybody ready? I'm gonna try and do these in order of best to worst. So there's Donatello.
3.
Oh yeah. I mean, all of these.
Oh, all of these are 3. Okay.
It's going to become more and more painfully obvious as we go through these. But that's actually not a bad picture for the 3 suits.
Yeah.
That's that's not like, it's not cringe. And actually, you know what? Mikey might be better.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good picture. And then on the back, we've got this.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. And Raphael. Yeah. And here's the back. Like, this should have been on the front, but all right.
Yeah.
And so that's the back. And now, a picture that everybody has seen because they've used it on the cover for, I think, the first Turtles film on digital, and why I will never understand. By far the worst picture of the entire lot.
Yep. There's my boy.
Yep. That is like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes.
Ninja Turtles.
I don't know if I've ever seen the 3rd movie, But what I want to know is, why were they just cutting costs and stuff? I mean, did the costumes from the first two degrade so poorly that they just couldn't have reused them for the second or for the third movie?
Didn't they cut ties with Jim Henson?
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
I don't think they cut ties with Jim. I think like Jim Henson. Well, Jim Henson passed away before the second film was finished.
Yeah.
And so they were out the main creator, and there were other places that were doing similar things. And so the third film, they used a different company. Now,
Okay.
I will say, oh no, this is kind of cool. This is the movie in comic book form,
Okay.
That's cool.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and but yeah, so that's why I don't watch these versions, but I'll never get rid of it. Anyway, so the third film, they have somebody on YouTube put up costume tests for, I can't remember if it was Donatello or Leonardo that they used. And I will say the third costumes, they're not as impressive visually. They are more agile, like significantly more agile in the third film. And the facial expressions possible are quite a step up because the technology is greater. Where rubber meets the road is what facial expressions they tended to focus on and use.
Yeah.
And because if they kept the eyes a little more shut most of the time, if it wasn't resting like facelift face, it might have been different.
Yeah.
Like, they were surprised like all the time. But I
And
think, go ahead.
the head sculpts were just not very, very kind to any of them in the third one.
No, exactly. And, you know, the first film took a lot of backlash from parents the same way Batman Returns did. It's like, wait, this is made for kids, and this it's amazing to think in 1984 hits, and we're talking like Ghostbusters and Gremlins and stuff that every kid saw, and
Yeah.
then we fast forward 6 years, and I think there are elements in Ghostbusters that are significantly more adult than Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
and there's no, I don't remember parents being mad, like, but by 1990, oh my gosh, it's like that's horrible, like they were, but I think part of it was the violence factor, is because they were starting to run into, kids wanted to play turtles, so they would fight each other or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never saw that, but apparently it was a thing. And I remember I've seen videos since of, like, they showed that, yeah, sometimes it was kind of nasty. But so the second film tones down the violence significantly. They don't really use their weapons for much, especially against people. And
I don't think they use their weapons at all against anybody. They
yeah.
I think Leo takes he takes his swords and throws them up into the ceiling to grab on and hit somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he doesn't actually ever make contact with any of it. Yeah, ever.
Donatello swings, I think, at Toka.
Hits him in the back and it like shakes real bad.
Yeah. And that's, I'm counting that technically.
Yeah.
And but and the third film, I think the third film was even more like that. I'd have to go back and look. It's but yeah, so with each movie it gets more and more like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like right down to joke style, the writing in general is like the it's interesting because it wouldn't, if you had changed the lighting of the third film, focused on maybe not quite as comical of expressions for the turtles,
Mm-hmm.
and replaced some of the line reads. What's there isn't bad, but the execution of it is such a step down. And actually, I think Josh from PSG was working. I can't remember who he's working with, but they were talking about like wanting to put together like a fan film.
We have been discussing that ourselves for so long. I was like, because we've got several nice, really cool, dingy alleyways around here, and I was like, how great would it be, to get one of the guys in Casey Jones driving the van down, like, or have like an opening brawl, right? Just a bunch of thugs mugging some person or whatever,
right?
And then all of a sudden, you just see headlights pop on. The van, the door slides open, Casey leans out, and then all four of us come running out. And I was like, we could do that so easily.
Totally.
So, hopefully if Josh doesn't, maybe this Josh will.
Right. Well, I tell you, if you do that, and since it's the 90 ones, if you need a Donatello voice,
awesome.
Hit me up. Be happy.
Awesome.
I'd be absolutely happy to do it. And that's
great.
Thank you. That's the most fun thing about the costumes is like the voices and I just want everybody to see. It's almost like you can see a soul inside the eyes. I love that so much.
Yeah.
So like, how much can you see outside the eyes when you have that thing on?
Not much, because the eyes. Now, see, just like in the original film, and I love the fact that I'm blanking on Josh's last name.
Workman?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Josh Workman. Yes. So I love that he took the time to make these as close to while making improvements, because the original film wouldn't hold up. But while making improvements to like the materials, that it's as much like the original costumes as possible, because you see literally.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's where you see from.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Once something past the nose depth, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's just gone.
Yeah. Just have to hope that whatever passes the nose depth, it isn't like a small child.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and that is why we have handlers, folks. That is why we have handlers. Hey, I don't know if you do a lot of stuff with like other turtles. I don't know if you've got other turtles in your area or not.
I don't, sadly. The closest, there's a Michelangelo in Chicago, but that's 6 hours away. So
that's not super close.
No.
Something we've been working on trying to do is we'll all wear a Bluetooth headphone in our ears.
Yep.
And then the handler will be also in Bluetooth headphones, and then we'll all just join a group call. So like I can be like, "Hey Mikey, you've got a kid right in front of you," and then he just, immediately.
Oh wow, that's nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's really great. One of the other things that again, Donatello, turned out that even though I picked him because he could just reach through floors with the bow staff, it turned out that there's more of a personality matchup than I thought. What I wanted to do was get a couple of, almost like what you were talking about with the van, is get a couple of those little pinpoint cameras, and put them at a couple of spots and have like a cell phone or something in the middle, so I can see through that.
Yes. I've tried the cell phone thing, not with the cameras, because I don't have anything like that. But I took my wife's phone, put it in the other side of our kitchen, and then I put my phone inside the basically in the nose, the beak area, and kind of let it rest. But the problem is I don't know how much room you have between where it sits on your head and the front.
A little, but not a whole ton, especially after as we put like
extra padding.
So like I don't want it jostling around when I move my head. I want it to stay straight.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you have the cameras, it might work better. Now, granted, like I said, I was operating from the viewpoint outside of me looking back at me. So like I was like, wait a minute, I'm not stepping the right way. But I'll say it is difficult, but I don't think it's impossible. So if you want to work on it and you figure something out, you let me know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, My problem is that I'm doing well. If after the stream is done, if you watch the beginning of it, I talk about the 15 jillion things that I'm trying to do all at once.
You're right.
Because we've got EAP Society, which is an Elvis YouTube channel. We're tracking down unreleased Elvis stuff. We're doing so there's all of that. Then there's Jack Life, which is going to be all about geek culture. It's going to be like Twilight's going to be a focus, but Turtles, Ghostbusters. Funny enough, I actually have a Twilight and Ghostbusters crossover story, and it
Nice.
surprisingly doesn't. It is surprisingly works. But yeah, I would love to put like just those little like spy camera things, like one here and one here. You know what would be really good? Not that I'd want to do this, but what would be really good is if these were the coming out of our shells turtles with the studs.
Oh yeah, you could hide that very
One
easily.
of the studs could actually be the camera. Nobody'd notice it.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
speaking of that,
Go
somebody
ahead.
don't lose your train of thought. But speaking of that, somebody sent me video from like 2017, I think, where there was a group doing the coming out of our shells turtles.
Yeah.
And they were actually on stage or something at a comic convention, like performing. Like not really performing, but like, you know.
Yeah.
And I saw that once and I never saw it again.
I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that's Jason. If I absolutely had to guess, because they've got that down to a science. You know, we did a Smoky Mountain baseball thing with them. So we actually, like, they were like, "Hey, we're down 2 turtles. We're gonna go and do this. Can you go? Can you guys open to doing this?" We said, "Yeah, sure." And that's when we found out, like, we're sitting there sweating, you know, dying in the suits coming out of them. We get back there, and he goes, "This is nothing. This isn't as bad as when I was on Power Rangers." And I'm like, "What? What did you just say? What?" So, but I would guess it's them. I would guess that was them, because they do that with. I mean, they do that with Vanilla Ice, and you know, he even said at one point, he's like, "Hey, if we're ever down turtles, you know, is that something you'd be interested in?" And I'm like, dancing on stage with Vanilla Ice? Yeah, that's something I'm interested in.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, you can let him know if he's ever down at Donatello and you guys can't do it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
That would be okay. After about a half hour, my butt is basically out. But the
have you passed out in the suit yet?
I came close. It's bad.
Yeah. We've had one turtle legitimately pass out, like, as we were ending what we were doing, like, went through the door and just collapsed, passed out. And the problem is, people do not understand just how, like, I'll say, like, it's really, really bad in these suits. It's well over 100 degrees in the suits. I was like, and the only air that comes in is if you open your mouth or those little eye slits. There's no other air circulating inside this whole suit.
Exactly.
And we'll go tell people stuff like this, and they're like, "Well, how long can you do an event for?" And I was like, "If it's inside and air conditioned, max 1 hour." I was like, "If it's outside, 30 minutes." And they're like, "Well, that doesn't seem reasonable." And I was like, I don't care what you think. It's reasonable. I was like, I love turtles, but I'm not going to die in one of these suits.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, what we usually tell people is, like, we can do a set amount of time, but it has to be like a half hour on, half hour off.
Yeah.
At best. Usually we do like usually what we'll, like, if it's like for like library or something like that, we'll do a half hour and then we're done. And most of the costumes, like Jack Sparrow, I can spend all day in. Like Deadpool, I can spend all day in. Doesn't matter. And but yeah, Mario is like a 45 minutes and then 15-minute out, but that's like a mascot style. That's like there's a lot of room in there. There's a fan in the head, like all this kind of stuff. But yeah, the turtle costume. Well, and I actually, we got smart halfway through, but the first time, because I don't quite fill everything in, and I didn't like the way it was bunching in places. We actually built. We took 2 turtlenecks. Took 2 turtlenecks and put padding in between them so we could sew them up like a muscle suit. So
Okay.
I put that on and then the suit on top of it.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine.
Which makes it even worse. That was the time I almost got heat stroke. And it was rough for me for like about 2 weeks after that. But after that, I still put on the pants because everybody's like, wow, how do you dance like that? Because I put in the turtle group thing, I put like video of me dancing in the suit. And they're like, oh, how do you do that? Well, part of that's because there's 2 pairs of jogging pants with padding sewn in between. So that way when I put that stuff on, it's like firm. So that way I can move my leg and it's firm with it.
Yeah.
And but that is okay. I just don't wear I don't wear anything in the top. I just have the other, and then but we're gonna do like some strategic like foam here and foam here just in certain spots. So that way when I put everything on, that way there's no bunching, there's no, and I know Josh has said that there are other ways where you can like do a slit and and bring it over and all this kind of stuff. And I don't trust that things won't rip because of the way I move in the suit. So I'm like, let's just fill in the gaps in a couple of spots and spaces. We're fine. That's fine.
Have you ever seen the cave?
Oh. The cave.
I don't know. He's not talking the Bat Cave.
Possibly the cave. I think the cave suits, and if that's, I have as well. There's another company that makes suits that people seem to get the head and the hands and the feet quickly, and then nothing else seems to show up even years later, which is unfortunate because the suits are not cheap. The suits are incredibly expensive, in addition to not being able to breathe.
Yeah.
But if Josh,
he's here.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
I don't know. Don't know what happened. It just went blank. I don't know, but all I was gonna say was the cave suits are solid foam everywhere. So I'm a betting that the prop shop garage suits do allow for more maneuverability, because the cave suits are basically foam muscle suits. Like they are muscle suits themselves.
Right.
So
yeah. So basically, I took the PSG one and turn it into almost like the cave suit because I'm filling in the empty space basically. The only thing that I notice if you don't fill in the space, and they're made because everybody's got a different body size, so you can fill in the spaces as you need, right? And I'm making hand gestures, and you can't see the head, so like it's made to fill in like some of the stuff. And the only thing with it is if you don't do that, for instance, if you got the head in and you move, because it would normally just kind of sit like it would sit as if you're wearing a mask, because you could turn your head like this and the head is still, like people can intuit that the head is not on the body properly, it's not, so they're not made to just be like straight up, at least not for me. If you have a larger, I've got a fairly large head, but if you've got a bigger one, then our cat is. We got a new cat. Our cat is trying for the door.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, I've seen pictures. Beautiful.
Yeah, and really super friendly. But he's crying like crazy. So apology if you can hear him.
No worries.
But I would be. It's funny. Before I saw Prop Shop Garage, the cave was one of the first things I looked at.
Yeah.
And those are really good. Those are really, really good too.
I love both of them for different reasons, and we had looked at Prop Shop as well, but Cave offered us a small discount that became a significant discount when we looked at overall pricing if we ordered all 4 suits at the same time.
Cool.
So we did. We was like, okay, let's that pretty much settles it for us. So we ended up ordering from them.
Nice. Yeah. And there's another company I was telling Steve about that people seem to be able to get like the heads, and the heads look really good. Heads, hands, and feet, but nothing else seems to show up.
Real time.
That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's too bad to people. I mean, people have been waiting years for some of that stuff. That's
Yeah.
you know.
I had a buddy. I mean, and this is no disrespect to any turtle maker out there, because I think everybody does something extremely well overall for each one of their suits.
Totally.
I think Real Time probably has the best head sculpt. Just my opinion.
It is. They are excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's too small. Like, I don't know. And I had a friend, he has my exact same Leo suit, and he was like, I really want to get that head because it looks so good. And I was like, I agree. And he's like, well, I ordered one. And I was like, okay. And he got it, and he said, the color didn't match his suit.
Yeah.
And trying to paint it was going to be a problem. And then he sent me pictures of it, and I don't know how big Prop Shop's head is, compared to Cave's head.
Right.
But it was significant. I would say a quarter size smaller than the head that I have.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is
Yeah.
You kind of give an idea, Yeah, quarter size small. Geez, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I fit into it.
You would look like one of the the Beetlejuice guys at the end, I was like, that's just not going to look right.
No, this might be a good look for me. No. Oh yeah, that's too bad, because I liked that the arm up to here was one piece, and then the feet, But yeah, I mean I was really lucky that because I got mine in just before the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
And I had an old from one of the productions I was in. I had an Elvis vest thing that was pretty cool, and a guy really wanted it, and he gave me almost the entirety of what the turtle suit was going to cost.
Oh wow!
So I got the turtle suit for like around 500.
Oh my gosh!
After selling the vest.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would still not have a turtle suit. And it's just, but there's the only, I love all of it. I mean, Prop Shop does insanely amazing, immaculate work.
Yeah.
The only thing is sitting down is with the shell, because I've got the larger shell, because it looks like the accuracy is incredible. But sitting down and not really a thing.
No.
It's not made for that, and that's okay. It's like different suits have getting into a car with the Deadpool swords in is not really a thing either.
Right.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Please come with the dog sometimes, right? But if anybody is interested, there's I give a shout out to Prop Shop Garage, PSG Props on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And he was super nice. Sent me tons and tons of pictures. And anytime I was like, "Hey, what's the latest?" and he'd take pictures and send them. And
That's
so
great.
that was really, really cool. So sometime if we ever get a chance to all meet up with turtle stuff, one of the things I'd love to do is to put on a convention that's just turtle people.
That would be cool.
He-Man has PowerCon. I think Turtle PowerCon needs to be a thing. And,
I don't know why that's not already. A thing.
Right? It's like one of those things that you would just think that it would be, but
it'd be a shell of a good time.
It'd be a shell of a good time.
Nice.
Yep. And you have to bring in why am I blanking? Because I'm thinking about so many things at once. And speaking, if you're gonna call it Turtle Power, you got to bring in from New York. Shoot, he wrote the Turtle Power song for the film.
Oh, yes.
I'm friends with him on Instagram. I feel horrible. but yeah, here
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up like I don't know what I'm doing. Partners in Crime.
There you go. Yeah.
I didn't. It's funny. In the middle of typing it out is when it came to my brain. Super nice guy. He does a lot of charity work. He does a lot of great stuff for people, and he loves Turtle fans. He even wrote 2 other Turtle songs, and yeah, he does a lot of really neat stuff. Having him be entertainment, and
Yes.
I don't know I don't know what some of the other groups are doing. If some of those folks are still around, I think Ya Kid K is, I think, I don't know if she lives in the Caribbean now or something. She does like she does like some spiritual music and a lot of different stuff. But I think it'd
Interesting.
be fun to get some of these folks together and
Yeah.
maybe one of the groups that plays like video game music and have them play like,
My
you know,
God.
stuff from Turtles in Time. And
Yeah.
what a freaking fun weekend something like that could be.
That would be, yeah. That needs to be a thing. Like, and because they have Power Morphicon like for the Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking about this. This is absolutely like, yes, that needs to be a thing. But also, uh, name another group, any other group that has more crossovers with other IPs than Turtles does.
Yeah.
Probably Transformers.
You think they have as much, or do you think they have more, Steve?
I don't know if they have more, but I know. I mean, like, because I've seen just like yesterday, and I'd never seen this before. Apparently, there's a Transformers kit from Knight Rider.
Really?
Yes, and
Interesting.
Transformers GI Joe, and I mean, it seems like Transformers are trying to just like transform into everything they can.
I want that Transformers Ecto. I really want that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the Transformers, or not Transformers, sorry. The Ninja Turtles dressed as Ghostbusters was pretty cool.
Yes. I've got a buddy that does Michelangelo. Like that's what he does. Like I don't think he has the full suit. I think it's real time. I think that's what he has. He has the hands and the head, and then he just wears the Ghostbuster suit with the pack on.
You know what? That'd be the way to go. I mean, if you only have pieces of the suit, that's the way to do it.
You could do that, or any of their the Raph in the trench coat.
In the trench coat. Yep, totally. But yeah, well, you know what? We'll have to after I get some of these other things off of my plate, it'd be fun to look at seeing what all could be put together for a Ninja Turtles convention. And
yeah,
I don't know, something. There's 40 years in, as big as the Turtles are, as many things like, yeah.
Yep.
And like you said, Transformers might be close, if not on par, but the Turtles are right up there with more crossovers with everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman and DC, like it's getting harder to find franchises they haven't crossed over with.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, Power Rangers, DC, Ghostbusters. I know there's another one. Has Turtles? Does anybody know Turtles and Transformers? Have they crossed over? I'm almost sure
no.
It's possible. If we're looking at action figures, they've crossed over with Stranger Things. They've crossed over with Cobra Kai.
WWE.
Yeah. 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 Power Rangers. Let's see. But yeah,
don't they have Turtles wearing Starfleet uniforms?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Yep.
And
Turtles from Star Trek.
Street Fighter, I think, as well.
Yeah.
That needs to be
Turtles in Mortal Kombat.
Turtles in Mortal Kombat. That's right, because they're in one of the games. Those are good. Those look good too. I'd love
those
to see
are good.
They could use those for tons of stuff.
Yeah.
The speaking of video games,
that's fun. That's a fun game.
This is a lot. This is a really fun game. This is like 14, 15 games
Yeah.
13 classic games, and yeah, this is the big Konami. I mean, I had to have it digitally, but then like this is just
Of course.
yeah. And if you don't have, if you haven't played Turtles Tournament Fighters for the Super Nintendo, everybody at home, that's the one to get. The Nintendo game is okay. I'm really not crazy about the Genesis game at all. Yeah, but yeah, and then just tons and tons of
Oh my gosh.
Wow,
great,
very nice.
yeah, Konami artworks and things, and then it comes with here. This feels like glorified show and tell, so apologies if this is just pissing anybody off.
Cool.
Some of the sprites from the arcade game. There's the blimp.
Yeah.
Speaking of, and then artwork, and this is a cloth.
Oh.
And I think Kevin Eastman did this. And then they have Turtles Tournament Fighter playing cards, or not playing cards. It's like a puzzle on one side, and then cards for each of the characters on the other.
Okay,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it came with other stuff, but I don't have that here. There's like a 3D. There's like one of those 3D like standy things where there's different layers to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's flat, but it's still 3D. But I love all of the different stuff that they're coming up with for things that we grew up with in general.
Yeah.
Like they're really thinking outside the box, and it's not. I mean, I do like also that they're going back and like Playmates. Playmates is going to be making money off of those original turtle sculpts forever. Yeah. Except for these, because all of the heads are Donatello on the new ones. They're all the same, which is weird. So sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I made a meme and sent this to some, our turtle chat that we have, whatever. But you seen the movie Step Brothers where they've got the night vision goggles on, and he goes, "Can you imagine if we had these when we were 12?" And he goes, "Better, we got them when we're 40." That's how I feel like right now, just across the board, everywhere is like, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Getting the best stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you're in a position to be able to enjoy it
and appreciate it much more than you would if you were a kid.
Exactly.
And I know to keep the box, which is so important.
Oh, like it's when my parents come over and they see our garage, and it's like, what's inside of those plastic containers? Boxes. What? Why do you have boxes?
The problem is, you say you know to keep the box now, but everybody knows to keep the box. So there's a proliferation of people grabbing a whole bunch of stuff saying, "Oh, I'm going to keep this and it's going to be worth a fortune." Well, you and 10,000 other people are keeping it and the box and the instructions.
Yep.
And so, you didn't know back then.
Right.
But even then, if I had gotten, and I don't have it, but if I had gotten a Millennium Falcon and in the box and kept it, would I be selling it now? No.
Well,
then what's the point of having the box?
Right. Well, so you guys at that point, so you could say you still have the box.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because
I have so many boxes now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things of like, if it means something more to you, then you keep the box, and if it doesn't, but you're just thinking, well, if I go to sell this, and in those cases you only keep the box for so long,
right?
Like it just depends on what it is. Like certain things I'll have the box for forever, and as a matter of fact, in some cases, for like the mini Nintendo and the mini Super Nintendo, the little collector ones, I have the Nintendo and I have those set out, and I modded the Genesis so I could put Superman in there. But with those being out, then I still keep the boxes for those, and they've got their own like kind of setup
Okay.
in the room. So the boxes can sometimes be used as far as that goes, but then sometimes it's like I don't have room for this, and then it goes into a container which goes in the garage.
So I would say that boxes have now become our, like, that every man of our age has a bag or a box somewhere that has just a ton of wires in it that one day we're absolutely going to use. And now I just have
I have that too.
I have that too. Yes, I have that too. But now I also have it next to like a 2007 Halo Xbox 3 edition box. I don't even think I have the console anymore, but I still have the box.
Right. And the weird part is, in some cases, the boxes are worth more than what's in them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the crazy part. Like, yeah, it's it's also one of those things of, if you are ever in a position where you need to sell stuff,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to be in that position, you'd rather be in that position with the box.
Yeah.
Right.
Because even if 10,000 other people have the item in the box, if you're trying to sell the item without the box,
Yeah.
as, then you might as well just like, here,
Yes.
Merry Christmas or something, whatever. It's like, does it have, and at that point, the person getting the free item goes, do you still have the box?
That's right.
Actually, that would be a movie about geek culture where that's like, you can't even give something away if you don't have the box.
It's like, oh, do you want
Well-
this? You don't have no, just
So I will say regarding the box, and they just happen to be next to me. Lately, I have been trying to get the complete set of the Firefly QMX Mini Masters.
ooh,
So I have Shepherd Book.
awesome. That's awesome.
I have Malcolm Reynolds.
Awesome.
Nice.
And these are the ones that I have with me right near me, because I also have Jane and Saffron, and I have Badger.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
And when I go looking on eBay for them, I'm only going to buy the ones that I know that come in the box.
Yeah.
Also because I don't right now have room to put all these things out.
Yeah.
So having Shepherd Book in the box makes it nice, because I know that he is not going to break.
Yeah.
When he's in,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's protected, and it's easier to stack them too, because
yes,
the
it
boxes,
most certainly is.
yeah.
But then, like, I will take them when the Rochester Browncoats have a table at the local con. I'll just take them out of the box, put them on the table, and then when the con's over, whoop, they go right back in the box.
Exactly.
Am I the only one that held my breath when Steve opened the styrofoam? 'Cause, Steve, you did that so just like, what? I'm opening it like it was
like the trajectory from our
Angle.
vantage point.
Yeah.
Oh,
It looked like it was gonna, like, I do this so it keeps them not. Oh.
Yeah, I was just waiting. I was like, oh my gosh.
like there's a little thing in the back of my mind that was almost like, maybe it's broken and he's doing this as a joke to see what we do. Like, but yeah. So I had. So yeah. It's okay. I had as the collector in me had a small panic attack.
Yeah.
So well played, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I think I'm gonna have to head out. It's getting late.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just thinking it's getting close to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
It's getting
10 o'clock.
10
o'clock.
Sorry.
It's almost 11 o'clock here, my friend.
Sorry,
Yep.
I'm on Central Time.
Yes.
So all right, real quick before everybody goes, one for Ghostbusters and one for Turtles. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a pretty synonymous thing with both of these, but for people that are, or for people that maybe just want to get their feet wet, or maybe they love these things but they want to know, like, where's a good place to start for getting into the franchise, each of them, and then for a good thing to start with for getting into like collecting the franchise, or maybe like who they can where they could maybe go if they want to be involved in the community like you guys are.
Okay. Steve, you want to go first?
Yes,
Yeah, well,
Steve, or yeah.
Well, I would say, I just like I belong to a lot of Facebook groups that are Ghostbusters themed. And one of a very active one is run by one of our super friends, Kevin Williams, the Memphis Ghostbusters, and they do a lot of stuff. And I've, just followed them and been active on their page because I just think it's it's a nice way to connect. But also, I would say wherever you are, look and see if your city has a local Ghost Corps, Ghostbusters chapter or something. Just type in your city name with Ghostbusters and see if there's something out there. And if not, go. There's like, because I think one of the groups that I belong to on Facebook is like Ghostbusters fans worldwide, and there are enough groups out there with enough people that you can join, and you're going to find people from your area that are or you could say, hey, I live in this place, do you know anyone that does Ghostbusters? And you'll find something. And Facebook's good, online's good, just go searching, and I'm sure. And I don't know if I mean, I'm gotta believe the Ghost Corps has websites and stuff so you can locate the different Ghostbusters chapters, and but just go searching online, and yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Steve, are there anything like any artistic projects and things that you're working on to that people should look out for?
Nothing coming up that I know of. Just the monthly chats and that we do here with Otherworldly Fundraising, and
Yep.
And I put together the banners for the chats coming up and whatnot. But other than that, no, I would say.
Cool. Okay. Well, and at some point, I don't know when yet, but at some point we are going to have Steve on Jacklife, because we're both big fans of the board game Atmosphere. And so we're gonna play some Atmosphere now. Steve, have you been able to? Sorry, Josh, we'll get to you in just a second.
Yeah, you're fine.
Steve, have you found the new Harbingers game yet?
No.
Okay.
I have the Atmosphere game. Yes, like I have the Atmosphere game you have.
Okay. You do.
Okay. And I've got that back from like
when it
first came out, and
Okay.
I've never played it. I do want to try to play it.
Cool.
I gotta find a digital copy because
Yeah.
I don't know. We have a VCR somewhere in the house, but I don't know where it is. And
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, I'll see if I can get a transfer off, because I've still got the VHS tape and all that stuff. So,
yeah.
But at some point, we've got to get a group together.
Okay.
And for the Jacklife channel or whatever, I'd love to play Atmosphere as a big group with projection and surround and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So
nice.
All right. And Josh, same question to you. Like, is there what all exists for people if they want to kind of dip their toes into this? And then also, as just a fan, if they want to kind of get into the franchise, where do you think is a good place to start?
So, well, to answer the second question first, I'd start with the '90s movie, like that's, or even the '87, the '87 cartoon series is incredible. But I'm partial to both of those. But like, there's not been a better rendition of the Turtles, that, in my opinion, than the '90s movie. And that's something we were talking, just things we were talking about earlier. That was basically considered an indie movie, and it held the title for highest grossing indie movie until the Blair Witch Project came out. That's how long it held that title. So I love, all things '90s, '80s and stuff. So that's where I would start personally. And then, if you just wanted to get in, like talk to other people, the same kind of ilk and everything. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram, TMMT Wiz. And
he's great.
yeah, he's got a lot of great stuff. Always something cool popping up on his page. You can follow Tennessee Turtles. I'll try to be more active, I promise. But yeah, kind of like what Steve said. There's not like really, there's no turtle chapters or anything like that that I've seen pop up. There's very few people that I see in suits doing stuff and everything. But I mean, you don't have to look far to find a turtle fan. Like I said, it's for 40 years. Like you're gonna throw a stone, you'll hit a turtle fan.
Yeah, that's true. And another thing I'll kind of add to that is Paramount Plus has a ton of turtle stuff.
Okay.
So if you want to dip your toe into basically every iteration of the Turtles that has ever been, and you just want to be able to kind of like sample it and see where you lay as far as what your favorite stuff is, go to Paramount Plus, because there's a ton, everything from the 87 to the 2002, 2003,
2003, I think. Yeah.
2003, 2012, which also crosses over with the 87 Turtles a few times, which is really cool.
Yes. Turtles Forever.
Well, Turtles Forever was the 2003, and then like the last couple seasons of the 2012 had a lot of cameos, and you even get to see the Turtles. You can get to see the 87 Turtles in the CG style of the 2012.
Really?
Oh yeah, you got to watch the last 2 episodes or the last 3 episodes of the 2012 series. They brought all the original who's still alive. They brought the original voice cast back. And it's amazing. And the last episode, especially, the time and the care that they put into recreating the art and the animation style of the original 87 is immaculate.
Oh, I'm going to watch that for sure.
They spent time. Like, it's great.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Paramount Plus is a great thing. But yeah, Tennessee Turtles, definitely check them out on Facebook. Also, PSG Props made this beautiful masterpiece.
Gorgeous.
And also named Josh. So hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
That's all good.
One more thing, real quick, just because I don't want to shout him out, because I do not want to leave him out. Zach Pensall actually did the graphic design for like the side of the van with the blue, like where it looks like the windows reflecting, and the the Foot Clan stickers and all that stuff. He did all that, mocked it all up, and then I had a company, print them out on magnets and vinyl and stuff and everything. But Zach's the man.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and Zach Pensall. November chat is 11/22. All right, 112224.
Yes, and that's an author's chat.
What's that?
That's an author's chat.
Excellent. So everybody, check out. If you're not following Otherworldly Fundraising on Facebook, go ahead and check that out. Otherworldly Fundraising, also on Instagram. And of course, my name is Jamie Kelly. I have the EAP Society, which is the Elvis Archival Preservation Society. Whole point is making sure Elvis history is not lost to history. Also have Jack Life, which right now is mostly Twilight focused, but is going to have a lot of different focus. It's going to be all about geekery and celebrating everybody's way of how they geek out and what they geek out about. So that way, if it's something that we're into, we can enjoy it along with somebody else. And if it's something that you're not into, you can see from the perspective of a fan or fans. So that way you can go, okay, I get it now. Or maybe you find something that you love that you didn't know you needed. So, because there's all kinds of cool stuff. I got into Turtles from a roundabout way. We got into Twilight from a roundabout way. There's several things like that. So you just never know how something's going to hit you. And that's the whole thing with Jack Life is talking. So, and Josh, we're definitely, once I get Jack Life going, love to talk to you about everything. And we'll come down and, do video of the van and get to meet everybody. And Steve, looking forward to all the fun things with you. We got a lot in store. And so, and for Ghostbusters, Spirit Halloween is a really good HalloweenCostumes.com. It has a lot of great stuff. Yep. Ghostbusters News has a lot of good information.
Good news and information. Yep.
The Turtle Den is a really good channel for turtle information as well. And HalloweenCostumes.com is great for Halloween costumes. They got a lot of really cool. I haven't seen their turtle stuff, but their Ghostbusters stuff is freaking awesome. And I want that terror dog so bad, but I don't have $600 burning a hole in my pocket. But if I did, then I wouldn't have enough, because you need 1,200, because you need 2 of those bastards. Anyway. So, all right, everybody. Okay. Joshua, thank you so much.
Yes.
Steve, thank you. And
thank you.
Yes, and Ryan, who is no longer with us. Yeah, no, he's here, and I don't know. He's probably watching.
He said to leave early. Yeah.
Yeah, he had to leave early, so yeah, I just had to make the joke. So, anyway, thank you so much to Ryan for hopping on and talking all this stuff. And we'll do this more, talking about these things more often, because it's fun to geek out with fellow nerds.
Yes.
So,
yep.
All right, everybody, Otherworldly Fundraising, look up Otherworldly Fundraising for the links so you can donate. And Mom Bomb is a really great organization. Mom Bomb is helping take care of distressed mothers and fathers as well, who are just need help with kids and expenses and everything if they're down or sick or something like that. There's a lot of really cool things, and it's a great little organization. And we are the donations that are available on the thing will go for that. So thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you again on the 22nd of November.
All right.
Cool. Good night, everybody.
Good night.